thing on? Yeah, it's okay. Very, very pogger, as the youngins would say. Okay. I mean, scheduled. Scheduled. Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, nerds? What's up, sussy bakas? Sussy baka. What is up, guys? What up? Good morning to you as well. Gotta sift through some of this that I gotta pull up for the day. Pull up my pants. You're happy I'm streaming on YouTube? I appreciate that. Me as well. Oh man, my wife sends me so much stuff on Instagram. She's crazy. Wives are weird, bro. They're weirdos. Do 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 do. Open image in a new tab. Oh man, this Try Guy stuff is so sad. So sad, guys. I can't believe they fired this guy. Sorry, I'm just crying. It's real crying, so don't think it's fake. Don't think it's fake. Okay? Don't think I'm fake crying, okay? Oh, yeah, this is the one. I'm all alone, I need you now. Yeah, dude. That's a bop. Lady Antebellum is an absolute banger in the mouth, bro. Picture perfect memories scattered across the bedroom floor.
And all my lesbian friends.
Whoa, relax. Another shot of whiskey. I can't fight this anymore. And I wonder if I ever cross your mind. Let's see what we got here. Sorry, I'm just looking up. I have some of the content. I know what this is. Sing it, baby.
An open world.
Heck yeah, brother. Brothers and sisters. And thisters. You can't forget about them. They are very important as well. Whoa, relax. What comes first? June or May? April, May, June. Gotcha. I knew that. I'm not stupid. I knew that, guys. You didn't have to answer the question. I knew that already. I already knew that. I already knew that. Am I ever going to talk about the 1,000-pound sisters? I don't think there's much to talk about, bro. Well, there's a lot to talk about, literally, but you know, like in the more figurative sense, I don't think that there's a. I don't think. Sneeko angrily defends his.
Oh,
a 2-hour stream where Sneeko.
Need a hot person.
What is this? Is from? Oh, this is from today. Okay. I don't know if I'm super interested in this. I'm not sure I'm super duper interested in this. The video that triggers the debate. Is it that short? The video is 20 minutes long. I don't know, dude. Watching this whole debate with Sneeko and Destiny, this is literally 2 hours long. I'm not sure if I'm interested in that. That sounds like a not enjoyable experience to listen to. But I guess I could think about it.
Annie became a member.
Hey, thank you so much for the membership.
So I'm gonna.
Yeah, let me get my
Calendar Stevenot super chatted $1.48.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hi Papa, do you think you will react to David Goggins?
I don't even know who that is. I'll be on 420p. I think that's you, brother. I think that's you, brother.
Annie became.
Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely you, brother. I think that my I have to get like a new microphone webcam though. What is this?
I'm gonna pretend he's my little bitch, and I'm gonna flatten him like a pancake.
Incredible.
Does it feel slightly unusual having to?
Okay. It's not going too bad, guys. How you doing? How do I plan on doing my Twitch? How do I plan on doing my streams on YouTube since it doesn't have the coins on Twitch, like the redeem stuff? Yeah, you can send me stuff in the Discord. There's a suggestions tab if you want. If that's what you're interested in. If that's what you're interested in. Papa God, can we watch the Primal? Oh yeah, I forgot about the Primal Iceberg. I don't know if we're gonna watch the Primal. It's like the Primal Iceberg.
Gubfaz super chatted $5.31. I'm so happy to catch it, Papa, looking sexy as always.
Thank you so much. The Primal Iceberg's cool, but that's like that's one of those things where it's like I'm gonna sneeze. Damn. That was a hell of a sneeze. That's one of those things that's like last in line on the content. Hi Nick, how are you? What happened to Twitch? I'm trying YouTube out, bro. What do you mean what happened to Twitch? You want me to do a wiping tutorial? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I could teach you guys how to wipe your bottoms. I could teach you guys how to wipe your fannies if you really want me to. I want to kill my mom. I want to kill my dad. You guys know that song? It's pretty good. At the rate of the robot says Papa. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's why I left it. I think his name is David. I don't remember what its name is. Whatever. Ned caught lacking. Yeah, Ned got caught lacking, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy. Look at these guys. It's just a dinosaur. Wow. They killed Ned. I should react to all the Pack God and Light. I don't even know what that is. What is Pack God? I don't know about that. How do I sneeze and not get boogers anymore? I don't got boogers, dude. I'm built differently. I'm built very differently than from you, bro. I'm built different, okay? I don't sneeze. I'm related to a dinosaur? That's true. You are related to a dinosaur. You guys are ridiculous today. Man, it's a weird day today, huh? What's today, Wednesday? You know, oh, I forgot to snap my wife. We have a snap streak of like 1,298. Very, yeah, there we go. Beautiful girl. That's what I'm going to say in response to my wife because she looks very beautiful. Yeah, imagine losing your whole life over a side piece. Yeah, that's weird. It's so weird. I don't know. We'll talk about it in this. Try guys more like cheating guys. Am I right? Yeah, for sure. Definitely more like cheating guys. Cheating guy, I guess. A singular. Yeah, I don't snap you back, dude, because you know what? You're always sending me rude stuff, bro. Oh, can I watch the Turkey Tom Lieutenant Corbus video? Yeah, you did send that in yesterday, didn't you? Didn't you? Let's see. Turkey Thomas. Turkey Thomas, Lieutenant Corbus.
Wait, Chica's.
Yeah, you.
Whether we like.
Oh, relax. Stop screaming, Turkey Thomas. Stop screaming. Pack God and Leg had a drama channel, and Leg got kicked back off of the accounts. I mean, I don't care. I don't even know who those people are. I don't even know who those people are, to be honest with you. I'm not. I'm a straight guy. I'm straight male. Okay. See, how long have we been waiting? What does we got? That's a good enough time. All right. Some mute the alerts. Let's get through this Try Guy stuff real quick. Talked about this yesterday. I talked about this yesterday where one of the Try Guys, right? We should get up the Try Guys real quick. Ned, allegedly, or I guess he actually did cheat because they kicked him out. They kicked him out of the Try Guys. I don't know. Which frankly seems rather preposterous to me. I mean, I get it. The guy cheated on his wife or girlfriend or whatever. She just had another kid, I think, too. But like, what? I mean, like, bro, what do you want me to tell you? Like he's got to lose his whole job He's got to lose. Like, didn't he started with the Try Guys? Like, he built this whole brand with them, and now he's like, yeah, you were caught getting your wick wet. And now they kicked him out, which seems kind of weird to me. But let's read the post. Ned Fulmer is no longer working with the Try Guys as a result of a thorough internal review. What does that even mean? We do not see a path forward together. We thank you for your support as we navigate this change. Oh my God, how stupid. Like, cheating is wrong, but this guy lost his life. I mean, well, not his life, but kind of his whole job. Yeah, some people were saying that he was a producer and the woman was an employee. I understand that. I'm gonna read the post, the follow-up post here. I do understand that. I'll talk about that at the end a little bit. This is what Ned posted on his actual account. Isn't this like the same thing? It looks like it is. It looks like he posted the same post. That like Ned Fulmer is no longer working with the Try Guys, result of their own blah, 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 blah. That's the first post, whatever. Family should have always been my priority, but I lost focus and had a consensual workplace relationship. I'm sorry for any pain that my actions may have caused to the guys and the fans, but most of all, to Ariel. The only thing that matters right now is my marriage and my children, and that's where I'm going to focus my attention. Thanks to everybody who has reached out to me. It means a lot, and nothing is more important to me and Ned than our family, and we all and all we request right now is that you respect our privacy for the sake of our kids. Okay, that's fair. So I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, well, Papa got it was with a workplace person. And I know, you know what time it is. It's power dynamics time, of course. I understand why the company might have like separated because they didn't want to have like a whole potential lawsuit and the conversation about like the way that power dynamics work and whatnot. Here's the thing. It's obviously... Here's the thing. This is why this situation gets so sticky to navigate. Because it's totally possible that this employee might have felt pressured to kiss this guy or date this guy because he was the boss and she felt like she was in a vulnerable position that she couldn't say no and et cetera, et cetera. It's possible, right? That does happen sometimes, and that's unfortunate, and it's obviously not good. It's also possible, though, if you guys have ever worked a real job, that the two of these were flirting mutually between each other, and they kind of developed a mutual affair that had nothing to do with leveraging one person's job over the other person's job. That's probably what happened. You obviously have to be careful of that. I understand why they cut ties with him because of this, but I don't think people should be diving off the deep end talking about like power dynamics and about how this guy leveraged his position of power against her. It's probably not what happened. It could have happened. It's probably not what happened. It's probably more just that like they were like developing an office from it. Like when I used to work a real job, I had like a work wife. You know what I mean? Her name was Vanessa, and it was like a flirty thing, but like nothing ever came of it. You know what I mean? That's what ends up happening. Sometimes you kind of get like a work wife or a work husband, and you kind of flirt, and sometimes it gets a little too far, and then, you know, I think both of them were married, right? So they're both bumping uglies while they were both married. You know, it's possible. That's probably what happened. But I guess the Try Guys have like this really clean cut image too, so they might have felt like that was a big deal as well, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna hurt our brand. You gotta get out of here, Ned." Ned, who the fuck sleeps with Ned? The guy who wrote the declassified things. So stupid. Either way, you're with... Yeah, okay. Either way. I do still kind of hope that like he's not completely financially disconnected from this. Like he should still be able to maintain some money from it. They're not going to announce it because if they say like, hey guys, he's still making money through the company because, you know, he helped build the fucking thing from the ground up. If they said that, the people, the audience would probably like shit and come and be like, this is ridiculous. But he should. Like, I mean, it's not good. You shouldn't be cheating on your spouse, but you shouldn't lose your way of life because of something like this. Like, that literally is cancel culture. So hopefully he's not completely, like, pushed out and, like, destroyed, you know? He's not pushed out and completely destroyed. Ned could get it. Well, my wife's in the chat saying Ned can get it now that I'm talking about how I have a work wife. Okay. All right. Two can play that game. You can play that game, bitch. Bitch, fucking asshole. My wife's so mean to me. My wife's always so mean to me all the time, bro. Yeah, it'll probably take a while to remove from the revenue stream, but they really shouldn't do that. Will I be selling any of my works made in paint? Is that something that you guys desire? Would you like me to create works of art in paint and sell them off? Huh? What do you want me to draw? Here, I could draw something. I could draw something for Halloween. So this is like, here we go. This is like my stoop. I got a wooden stoop. My fucking mother-in-law decided to spend tons of money on a wooden stoop in fucking COVID. And if you don't know what that means, it means that it's super expensive. Wood is like more expensive than it ever has been before, bro. It's fucking nuts. All right, here's my stoop. It's like that's at the top here, made of wood. Not too bad. Pretty good rendition of my stoop. Not the worst. Could be better, but you know it could be worse. Okay. And then here's the little kids. They're walking up the stoop. They're like, "Oh man, hey guys, it's me," and they're happy. They're like, "Oh yeah, trick or treat! I'm a bull. I have a butt on my head. This person's a butthead." That's their bag of candy. And then here's me. I'm a real big guy. So I'm a real big guy. I'm like this. And there's me. And here's my arm. Here's my other arm. And like here's like a gun. And they think it's fake because it's Halloween. Why would I have a real gun? But I don't like giving out candy. It's all mine. So I start shooting, not at him, but around him. And he goes, and he gets really sad and he starts running this way. And he's like, "Nah, mommy, help me." Then the mom's over here and she's like, "Oh, fuck, I gotta run too." That's, here's my painting. How do you like that? How do you like that there? That's a good work of art. I already deleted it. The NFT now. Don't worry, they were warning shots. I shot off warning shots. I shot off warning shots. Don't worry. The kids are still okay. Yeah, the kids are totally fine. Let me burp. Yeah, but Americans do give out bullets as candy for Halloween. I wouldn't kill the mother. What you do is you shoot the kid, and then the mother's grieving, and that's the best time to slide in. You know what I'm saying, dude? I'm just kidding. That's terrible. It's crazy. It's the first time you've had alone time in your house for months between your husband and kids and their job. You never get alone time. Then you're spending with me. Very pogger. Very pogger. Very pogger, dude. Okay. It's so ridiculous. Let's actually like watch like a segment. Like let's just get into a segment. I want to watch this segment. I want to do, instead of doing like all the little stuff, I kind of want to like get into something, play a game, do some content. This is an Ex-Transgender review from Soft White Underbelly. Because people keep asking me to like watch more of this stuff. This stuff's kind of kooky. Kooky bananas. Is this working? What's going on here? Picture perfect memory. Did I hear about the Amber Alert incident? No, I didn't. What happened? Was there a kid that got punched or something?
All right, Jake. Jake, where'd you grow up? Where are you?
That's my name. Just kidding. It's not my name. It's weird that I said that in the first. Another shot of whiskey. More maintenance on the fucking video game, dude. Come on, bro. Maintain these nuts in your mouth. Do. How'd I sleep? I slept all right, baby. How'd you sleep? Watch out, Papa. You might be going down the alt-right pipeline. True. I am going down the alt-right pipeline. The alt-white pipeline. I don't know. Ding, 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 ding. Papa Jake. What does that even mean? What words are you saying? All right. All right, guys. This is another video from Soft White Underbelly. And I'm curious to watch it. Somebody, after I watched the last Soft White Underbelly video, which is really bizarre. People, I used to watch more of it. It's all like that weird. So apparently they talk to a lot of people that like very interesting situations. And I think I saw it was referenced in a Patrick CC video too. So I'm curious. Let's watch. It's called Ex-Transgender Woman Interview Jake. So I guess they're a man, right? Okay. Let me mute the alerts. Did I hear about the what?
Mahogany XD super chatted $1.99. Did you hear about the Boyinaband stuff?
No, I don't know what that is. You can send me something if you want.
All right, Jake. Jake, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Hey, Jake, where are you
I'm
from?
a suburb of Chicago, northwest suburbs. I'm from a town called Wakanda. So
What?
Tell me about your family growing up. You had mom and dad?
That's in
Yeah, I had a
Chicago? I didn't know that Wakanda was in Chicago. I thought it was in like a different country.
mom and dad growing up.
Server's restarting.
I thought everything was normal that was kind of going on. I realized when I was like 13, 15 that everything I had been experiencing when I was young was anything but normal. I grew up. My dad was an angry guy. He was pretty secretive. He actually had a fake LLC for insurance sales, but our house was custom made, and the crawl space was actually converted into grow rooms. And this was the '90s. It was for weed, so weed was still pretty illegal. And
I think weed was actually fully illegal.
so that's kind of what he did under the table for work. I didn't find that out till I was about 15 or so. And my dad was also a pedophile growing up.
Jesus! Wow. Okay. We kind of jumped right into that one. I was not expecting that to be well, I guess at least he was only a pedophile growing up, and then he stopped being one afterwards, I guess. Oh, Jesus. A tasteless joke, sorry. Okay.
He's a sadist. He's he likes children, and
That's horrible.
I saw the bad end of that.
He was convicted?
No, not that I know of. My dad's not convicted. My dad got away. He's still out there. I confronted him about all this about a few years ago, and he admitted to it all over camera. Actually, he leaned in the camera. He kind of didn't confirm nor deny at first, and I know a little bit about how these people work, so I had my phone rolling, and I kept on pushing my accusations at him, calling him a pedophile, and eventually he leaned in the camera and he said, "And so what? Get over it." That's what I did.
That's
He doesn't
horrible.
care.
Did he ever, I mean, it's a horrible question. Did he ever, like, touches him? That's terrible.
And that's that. I gave it to the authorities, and they launched an investigation. But
Well,
I
that's
guess
good.
The authorities, we know how that goes, So
Yeah.
So your childhood
Unfortunately.
went in what direction?
my childhood was, it was good and bad. I hear of some people's childhoods that didn't have food on the table. Constant beatings and neglect. That wasn't really my childhood. My mother was around somewhat. My dad was around somewhat. And in the day, in the light, what people saw.
I wonder if people are like, I don't think this would be the intention of the video, but I wonder if people are going to like trying to like extrapolate that, like, oh, the fact that the dad was like a pedophile has something to do with why this person I thought they were trans in some capacity.
I was a well taken care of kid.
Obviously, I just don't want people to like start to lock onto like transphobic ideas. That's possible that confused this guy, but
And I'm thankful for that. I never went hungry. I wasn't beat for no reason. But in the dark, my dad was getting a hold of me and doing some really, really just pure evil. I don't have any words for it other than this was pure evil. This was even.
Honestly, I think that getting beaten would have been better. Because they were saying like, oh, they're like, I had food on the table and I didn't get beaten. But I feel like this is worse. I think I'd rather get beaten. I'd definitely rather get beaten than assaulted, especially by like a family member like that. That's horrible.
Past pedophilia and having sex with a child. This was sexual child torture.
Damn.
Dilating me, making fun of me.
What the fuck? Wait, hold on a second. Dilating him? Dilating is to like open something, right? That's horrible. Like dilating your eyes when they open up, make or become wider, larger, or more open. Jesus Christ.
Having sex with me. My dad had a friend too, who
Oh my God.
they would take me off to I think hotel rooms, or maybe it was the guy's house, and strip me down, beat me, humiliate me, pinch me, and penetrate me. And yeah, my mom eventually, obviously, found out. I had repressed a lot of these memories till I was in my teen years, and what opened them back up for me, I remember growing up, I always had such a hard time going to the bathroom. It hurt really bad going to the bathroom. And my mom found out about this, and she hated my dad. We all kind of hated my dad, but we had to live with him. So, yeah, the abuse kind of stopped around the age of 8 or 9 from my recollection. And
Jeez.
I think my mom had threatened to call the police on what he was doing. And that put an end to it. From there,
So it started at what age?
as far back as my memories go, I remember he was doing wrong things. I would assume from infancy, but I have a 2-year-old in my life. He's almost 3, and I know what was going on when I was 2 or 3. I remember quite a bit from being a kid. So it went on for quite some time. I can even remember not visual recordings, but they would take audio recordings of me getting raped and
Jesus.
just screaming bloody murder, man, in these audio recordings. And I'd actually.
Does that mean that he has watched them and he rewatched them at some point? Because that's got to be be reliving like a horrific experience, man. Jesus.
They bit one of these pedophiles on the side of the face while I was getting molested once, and I think my punishment for that is my dad took one of these audio recordings of me getting raped, and he sat me down and he had me listen to them when I was just 4 or 5 years old. And
what the
I grew up
fuck?
hunting and stuff. It sounded like someone was killing a rabbit over this audio recording, just gurgling, screaming. And I remember my dad looking at me and laughing, and I brought him the recording and I set it on his desk. I was just a scared kid. I didn't know what was going on. He looked at me and he kind of laughed and he says, "You don't like listening to that, do you?"
Dude,
I
what
like to
the
play
fuck?
with those voice recording tapes. I know if I talked into it, I could play it back, but it was an old school visual recording thing, so you can play it in reverse too, and it would kind of sound like weird sort of demonic things, So my dad had given me these audio recordings of me getting raped by grown men. And the first time I listened to it, my little kid brain, I guess I was an intelligent kid, I said, well, it must be in reverse because this just sounds like gurgling. And I would play it both ways, and it still kind of sounded the same. That's some of the harshest memories that I have. And I don't
Jesus
have any
Christ.
understanding. I guess sadism. He was a sadist. He liked hurting people, and he liked watching all that. So
You had siblings?
yeah, I had an older sister.
What's fucked up?
Yeah.
This whole.
From my memories,
What's really fucked up is like I mean, this whole thing is fucked. But he said it stopped around 8 or 9, and I wonder if that's because the mom like finally put her foot down, or if that's because like his attraction stopped at like 8 or 9 years old. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fucked. Like, was their attraction exclusively to like molesting and like hurting 8 or 9-year-olds, or like people before that age? This shit's fucking horrific, bro.
I know there was some things happening to her too, but I also remember my dad explaining to me that my mom was a lot more protective of my sister than she was of me.
Damn.
So I guess I'm not sure.
Wait, so the mom could have? Are we trying to say that the mom could have protected him and didn't? Like, is that what's being said? And like the mom just kind of like didn't do it because she didn't care about him? Is that what we're getting out of this, or is it more complicated than that? Is it some kind of weird situation where like the mom had to choose which one or something? I know that sounds like a really weird thing. That's fucking horrible.
I know a lot of bad stuff happened to me, but I actually haven't been in contact with my older sister since about the age of 12, 11. I've only spoken a handful of words to her since then. So the abuse stopped when I was around 9 or 10, and I noticed real quickly that both my parents were being exceptionally nice to me. Whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And I wasn't stupid. I knew what was going on. They were getting ready to have a divorce, and both parties wanted custody of me. Divorce happened when I was 12, and
They were getting ready to have a divorce. The only reason that I'm like thinking about that is because when they said that when he was talking about how like he was being abused and like by the dad, I kind of assumed that the mom was like afraid of him, and that there was some kind of like a power dynamic thing there where like, because like guys are physically stronger and sometimes, can be domineering over their wives and whatnot to a point where they may not be able to like get the choice that they want, which is still quite possible depending on who initiated the divorce. But like if she did initiate the divorce, like, is it that she could have put her foot down? She just didn't care enough? Like, was she afraid of what was going on and trying to protect her kids like the best way she thought she could? Or was she just like not caring at all? Like this is fucked.
I actually choose to go with my dad. My mom was a really
Wow.
angry woman. She screamed a lot.
What the
She hit
fuck?
sometimes, and
Well, that kind of makes me feel like she just didn't care. Jesus fucking Christ. How bad did the mom have to be for this guy to choose to go with? He said he chose,
Mom
right?
was a really angry 12. He's wanted. I actually choose to go with my dad.
What the fuck? Holy shit, dude. This is horrible.
My mom was a really angry woman. She screamed a lot. She hit sometimes. And, you know, my sister went with my mom. I chose to go with my dad simply because he was nicer to me. And I had forgotten some of the harsher abuse.
I guess that makes sense.
I remembered
'cause he
having to
was
sleep
young.
with him and stuff, but I didn't remember a lot of the sadist style behavior that came back when I was older and I started having sex with people. And
Wow.
like I said earlier, you know, it came back through me remembering my childhood and just it hurt so bad to go to the bathroom. And
Dude, this is so. I didn't think this was gonna be this heavy. I thought this was just gonna be like a detransitioning story that was like, you know, like exploring like the why this person, you know, was trans or felt that they were trans and how they were potentially misdiagnosed. And but this is much more than that.
you know, I thought that was normal. I talked with other people. I talked with some of my girlfriends when I was 17, 18, growing up. And as far as what my childhood was like with my dad, and they told me that's not normal. And it just led to a lot of, you know,
Yeah, for
investigating my
sure,
childhood. And these memories slowly came back. So by that time, I had already found out what drugs were. I grew up playing basketball, so I kept it pretty straight until about the age of 16. You know, I put my frustrations into basketball, and I was really, really good at basketball. I mean, I wasn't a very articulate, high IQ player. I was more the Dennis Rodman, kind of Kevin Garnett. I was a mean basketball player. Yeah, I could dunk the ball at a young age. I'd get a lot of rebounds. And I continued playing through high school, but I had already started using drugs at that point, and they started to take their toll on me.
Yeah, I could imagine.
So, yeah, I had met a best friend when I was about 14 or 15, and I already hated my dad at that point. So, and I think he knew I hated him. I didn't even stay in my own house at that point. I stayed at their house for most of the time. My basketball uniforms were there. My school clothes were there. Yeah, I called this my friend's mom, you know.
Damn, that's fucked. You know, it's so funny. Like my mother-in-law, like that's my mother-in-law is like that mom. You know what I mean? Where like when they were growing up, everybody was welcome to stay. It didn't like really matter. You never had to ask if they could stay for dinner. They were just kind of there. That's fucked, dude. Like those, like honestly, like those parents that do that kind of shit are fucking like you never know. They could be fucking lifesavers, bro. Like it could really just be fucking lifesavers. Just being like, yeah, you could stay over whenever you want. Because like for a kid, man, it's hard to be like, oh, my mom's beating the fuck out of me. You know what I mean? Like, well, what do you say? Or my dad's abusing me, my mom's abusing me. It's hard to like express any of that kind of shit. But if you're just like, yeah, you could just stay here whenever you want, that could provide like a massive safe haven for these kids in like a very horrible, like abusive scenario with one of their parents or both of their parents or, you know, whoever the guardians might be. That shit's fucked, bro. Yeah, literal safe havens where they're not pressuring you, being like, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" Like sometimes, bro, like you just don't not in the headspace. Sometimes you just can't talk about that stuff, or there are times where like you're the victim of horrible abuse, and like this is fucked, but like you're just not ready to talk about it. You can't talk about it. It's not something that you want, you know, and it may not even be productive for you to talk about it because that's your choice. When you're ready to talk about this kind of stuff, that's your choice. And sometimes just like, hey, you want like a fresh meal? You want to sleep somewhere where like you don't have to be afraid to get woken up at night in some kind of like a really weird fucked up way? You know, do you want like do you want to watch TV calmly? These really weird small things, like they could be so profoundly impactful for so many people.
She wasn't my mom, but she called me her son. So I kind of, you know.
And even that, like that sounds so stupid. Like, because to the mom, it's just like fun for like the parent, the safe haven parents. It's like, yeah, you can call me mom or dad. Like it's fun. Like I you know, but for this kid, that could be like, yeah, this person actually loves me. Like, especially with like them not having an understand. Like, how do you understand love at this point? How do you like? You've never been. Imagine like never have been like. Trying to figure out how to say this. Imagine never learning how to love or how to be loved, and like this is where you're learning it from. Like this person, this other person's like family in some capacity.
Stayed with that family.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here.
For most of my upbringing, I went real downhill with drugs after graduating high school. I started shooting heroin. I started smoking crack. I learned the layout of Chicago. I'm not familiar with the south side of Chicago. I'm familiar with the west side of Chicago, Garfield Park, Austin, Cicero. and just learning street life, you know. I was never an addict that went sick. I always kind of, I don't want to say, you know, an intelligent addict, but they are out there, you know. You know, we look at addicts and we think these people are, you know, stupid. And a lot of them are. But for some of these old drug addicts, people that have been in the game for 10, 15 years, the amount of IQ they need to sustain their habit, to not die, to live this street life, they're actually smarter than, in my opinion, they're smarter than a lot of, you know, working class people. It's just, you know, their habits
Well, it's like a survival instinct thing. Sure, I get what he's saying.
and who they are, they choose to use that intelligence in all the wrong way. And that was me in my early 20s. I sold a lot of things, allegedly, and
That hurts, bro. That sucks. That's fucking horrible. Because I know what they're talking about when they say they allegedly sold things. How fucked, bro?
I used a lot of drugs. I stopped using drugs when I was about 26 years old. I'm 29 now, so it's just the negatives started to outweigh the positives. I knew quite a few homeless people. I had friends that started to go to prison for different things. The first time I got clean, I relapsed. Golly, I mean, I tried.
Bro, like honestly, this is like one of those situations where we should like finally start talking about like what prison should be. Like what should prison be? Because imagine that you've gone through like this entire situation where you've been like abused your whole life. There's no way that you were ever going to succeed. You were molested as a child. Your mother didn't care about you. Your father didn't care about you. They laughed at you. They tortured you. You get out. You end up being like developing a horrible drug habit. Imagine all these different things are happening, and like then you go to prison. Like prison should try to evaluate some of these different situations. You know, like that's what it should be for. Like what else? What's a point of prison if it doesn't try to help people, you know, get out of prison, get out of like whatever pipeline they're stuck into? It just doesn't seem particularly productive, you know?
to get clean, it seems, you know, 50, 60, 70 times, and every time I relapsed, but I kept on trying.
What the fuck am I supposed to do?
And I got back into working out. I got back into playing pickup basketball, and at this point I've been sober about, you know, 2.5, 3 years. I don't have an exact date. And there was a relapse about 1.5 years ago with some hydrocodone. They were from a doctor for a surgery, but I didn't need them.
In relationships in your life?
Yeah. Relationships, you know, I had a girlfriend for most of my drug addiction. I grew up with a lot of gender dysphoria too, you know. I was a pretty queer kid growing up until I started getting made fun of it for like the long hair and the ear piercings. So
when they say they grew up with gender dysphoria, I wonder if they're just kind of using that term to communicate that they grew up where they felt like there was some kind of an incongruence with their gender, or if they potentially had diagnosed gender dysphoria. Because this is one of these things, like this says ex-transgender woman, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have gender dysphoria. I know that sounds weird, but I talked to like a therapist who specialized in this. He said that sometimes, not all the time, but in some cases, somebody with gender dysphoria, their treatment isn't to transition. Their treatment might be to like maintain their gender. You know, it's just it's really up to going to a therapist and trying to navigate the ways in which, like, you know, what's best for you.
So I pushed that part of me away. I got real tough. I started lifting weights, but the gender dysphoria was always there.
What am I supposed to do here?
I came out as transgender kind of in the midst of my drug addiction, and I had a handful of memories back in my head about my childhood. I just chose not to acknowledge them, or really give them any weight as to who I was as a person. Right now, sitting here, I can remember there was a lot of weird stuff going on with my dad. A lot of costumes. I mean, there was a puppy costume, which was naked with a collar.
Oh my God.
There was little girl costumes. There was little boy sailor costumes that I would have to wear when I was with these pedophiles, whether it be my dad or acquaintances, friends of my dad.
Jesus.
So now I kind of attribute that to my gender dysphoria.
I wonder where you could find people like that so that we can go in there with a gun and shoot them all. How fucking horrible, dude. Jesus Christ.
I actually don't have a lot of gender dysphoria at this moment here. I'm happy being a guy.
Well, that's good.
Maybe I'm a little androgynous. Some people say yes, some people say no. But yeah, I came out as transgender when I was 22 or 23. I had a boyfriend. He's a really, really nice, smart guy. I can actually give him some of the credit for getting me sober. I was a drug addict at the time.
Wow.
He was sober. He's an incredibly intelligent guy. And there was times where I would relapse and he would still hang around with me.
Yeah.
Even I was having sex with him one night, and another handful of memories kind of came back, and I was pretty
Jesus.
devastated. It led to me, I could no longer have sex with him.
Yeah, of
Just
course.
the act of having sex with another guy as a guy, it was so traumatizing for me. I remember one time I had tried because, and I had been sober for a few weeks, and I had tried having sex with my boyfriend, and
That's horrible. It's so interesting because like there are some instances, and I don't think that these are like all the instances, but there are some instances where people become like gay or straight in some capacity because they have a trauma associated with like that sex or that gender, I guess you would say. You know, and this makes sense. Like this person's dad molested them, so now they literally cannot be attracted to men because it just is incredibly horribly triggering. That's fucking terrible.
really quickly, I mean, we started making out, and I started shaking, and I ran to the toilet. I threw up.
Wow, the fuck.
I threw up a few times. I was shaking. I was sweating, and I started to realize that I'm a pretty traumatized person. The drug addiction, the gender dysphoria, the transgendered stuff. Thank God I was never incredibly sexually promiscuous, and no STDs or anything like that. So I'm really thankful for all that.
Well, that's
But
good.
yeah,
That's good. I mean, like it's like almost like that's just terrible. Because this person obviously was abused, which could definitely lead to an STD. And then on top of that, like they suggested they were engaging in some promiscuous activities for drugs, which I understand. But like that could almost be another, like just in addition to the trauma if they had an STD. It's like I did, and then it's like I did this to myself. I'm like, then they didn't really do that to themselves, you know? Like it's just a fucking horrible set of circumstances.
so I didn't do anything very quickly, but I started to realize that I wasn't transgender. I have a girlfriend now. I'm still friends with my boyfriend from that. He's a really smart, really intelligent guy, and he's been with me from the time I was a drug addict till now, till I'm clean. And so yeah, relationships, I've had them with men, I've had them with women, and yeah, I'm really thankful that I ran into a guy like that could be that patient and stuff. And so yeah, I'm still a traumatized person.
Do you deal with like emotional issues like depression or anger or anxiety, anything like that?
Yeah, I have.
My real question is like, does this person have access to like a therapist, and do they feel like it would be productive to have a therapist? Because that's something that people don't really talk about too much. Is like, therapy can be a really good experience, but sometimes therapy could also be a really bad experience. It really depends on the person. I think generally therapy is really good for almost all people, but there could be instances where maybe it's not super productive. I know it sounds like fucked up, but some people have like really repressed traumatic experiences, and like it would be really positive in the long run to work through them. But sometimes those really negative, like those experiences, when you kind of bring them back to the front, and then you bring them back to the front, and it kind of triggers like everything all over again, and it takes a lot of effort to kind of go back, and because then you have to readdress those. It could just be really fucked up. So I wonder if they would even feel like it was productive.
I have a bit of depression and anxiety. I don't take any medications for it. I refuse to be on any doctor's medications or anything. I don't use any drugs anymore. I'm kind of a pothead on and off. I do smoke pot. I try to keep it to responsible use. And even if I'm not smoking pot, I usually take edibles before sleep because my dreams are pretty rough. Just some of the dreams that I have to relive while I'm sleeping. I'd prefer not to remember them when I wake up, and weed can do that for me. So
Makes sense.
yeah, I eat edibles before sleep almost every night because I don't want to remember my dreams.
And the harder drugs that you were doing were what? What were the harder drugs that you were using?
A lot of opiates, man. Opiate-based painkillers, which kind of led into heroin. I started sniffing at first. I learned how to shoot up, so I was shooting a lot of heroin. Till I was about 22 or 23. Allegedly, supposedly, some people thought I sold a lot of coke. I never really had a taste for coke. I had tried snorting it. I had tried shooting it. It was just not my stuff until one day I had tried smoking it, free-base cocaine, and I actually kind of enjoyed that. And that was where my drug addiction got really bad. I started smoking a lot of crack with the dope. It only lasted for about 6 months until I realized that this isn't sustainable, and it'll take my life. If it doesn't take my life, it'll take my head, and I'll just be left a shell of a person, or I'll go to prison. for one thing or another. I had a few friends go to prison for drug-induced homicides and gun charges. And I knew I didn't want that. You know, I was kind of in the world alone. I had my so-called adoptive family, as I call them. They knew I was struggling, not to the extent that that I'm talking about now. But yeah, getting out of it wasn't easy. You know, like I said, it took me 50, 60 tries and constantly relapsing. But
Yeah, man. Like drug addiction's harsh, bro. Like I don't think really anybody ever kicks drug addiction or really any addiction, but drug addiction's really particularly bad in like one shot, you know?
you know, it took a lot of acknowledging my trauma that I went through as a kid. A lot of meditation, a lot of yoga, and it hasn't been easy. Even these past couple of years, I've had more memories come back of what my dad was doing.
Jesus.
And I'm still sober through it now. I guess I just found healthier ways to deal with it. You know, I play a lot of basketball again in different pickup leagues. I work out. I read just a ton. I'm an avid reader.
Did you try therapy?
I have tried therapy. I've tried not to any real help. I've tried therapists, and I had one rescheduling on me a lot. I had another one who was like
Terrible.
really anti-gay, anti-LGBT, and
Jesus Christ. So first of all, I mean, like rescheduling on somebody like that needs therapy. Like, what a fucking why be a therapist if you can't like actually take care of it? It's so weird to me that there are some people who just don't actually care about their job as much as like they should, especially a job that needs to be cared about, like being a therapist in some capacity, you know?
and I didn't really feel comfortable being with her. The
Yeah,
best
of course.
therapy that I've had is actually meditation and yoga. I've had a few yoga teachers kind of take me under their wing and guide me through some of my PTSD and my flashbacks, and
Wow.
just breathing, stretching, acknowledging that, you know, I'm a pretty messed up person. And that's all right. There's a lot of messed up people. I mean, there's homeless people that aren't messed up. You know, there's people that are homeless that do drugs that have had normal childhoods. And there's other people that are successful millionaires that have, you know, had childhoods similar to mine. And, you know, a lot of us are messed up. Some of us acknowledge it, some of us don't. And, you know, it's all right. You know, that for me, that's been the best therapy, is just yoga and meditation, you know.
Do you feel like you were once trans or gay or both, and now you're not, or is it just you're just choosing this for now?
Well, as far as my thoughts on that, I mean, I grew up being bisexual. You know, I've had girlfriends, I've had boyfriends. At this point in life, I'm not sure if I'm only interested in my girlfriend. I'm not interested in other women. I'm a monogamous person. That being said, I'm also not interested in other men. If my girlfriend wasn't around, I still wouldn't be interested in men. I would only be interested in women. And as far as, you know, my gender, I used to be quite a bit more androgynous, quite a bit more feminine looking near the end of my drug addiction, and now I'm not. I mean, I view gender as a spectrum. I mean, you know, and it changes throughout our life, as does our sexuality. So I think for most people, having some sense of androgyny is healthy. I don't know if anybody, if you just want my opinion, I don't know if anybody is transgender or is not transgender. As I said, you know, I think gender is a spectrum. I'm not out here to, you know, to hate on the transgender community or call
It's a very philosophical perspective on gender. I can respect that.
them mentally ill or anything.
It's so interesting because I kind of disagree with what this person is saying. I disagree, but like it's one of those things where this person has had like a profoundly different life experience to me, and so the way that they perceive gender is so much different than the way that like I perceive gender. Like it's just not the same thing. Like you know what I mean? Like it's almost philosophical to them and like exploratory and possibly even beneficial to work through their trauma to have this interpretation of gender, which, you know what, could be right. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I've never had, and I am so fortunate that I've never had this life experience that this person has had to be able to have this understanding of the way that they perceive gender. You know what I mean? This is like a really, it's interesting because I came into this expecting like to have this like really nuanced conversation about gender in like this really, you know, I guess stern way. And because a lot of times when people talk to detransitioners, it's in a way to be like very transphobic. But this, if anything, has made me personally, I still don't get it, but I get, like added like a level of like kind of understanding to people that have gender dysphoria and like the way that they perceive gender and like how it might help or, you know, their personal like experience. if that makes sense, you know?
Um,
Yeah, this is eye-opening for
I
sure.
don't think I was pulled into the transgender community and, brainwashed by them or anything like that. I don't hold any beliefs like that. So yeah, I view gender as a spectrum. As far as me dealing with some of my issues, I think there was kind of a form of mastery involved with my childhood and my trauma that I went through, and I had a boyfriend, and I read a lot. So I read that when something really, really bad happens to you when you're a kid, two things can happen. You'll either never want to be put in that situation again, you'll be a traumatized person, or as you grow up, you'll try to recreate it and relive it, and you will
Yeah.
probably re-traumatize yourself as a way to master what had happened to you as a kid.
Yeah, sometimes the way that happens, and this is like kind of horrible, is like repeating trends where like people who are abused like become abusers. It's like really fucked up. And then it's like it can potentially be like this really fucked up pipeline, like back and forth, like the way that your trauma manifests itself and how profoundly negative, like it's fucking horrible. It's really fucking horrible.
And I see this everywhere I go. I mean, I have more than one friend who's a trans woman who was sexually abused by her father when she was a little boy.
That's crazy. Because like, it's possible. And I don't know, because here's the thing. There's some statistics that show that like there's a higher level of abuse in some capacity associated with being LGBTQ. And there's two different ways to look at that. One way is to look at it as the abuse causes somebody to become like LGBTQ in some capacity. And then there's the way of like people can tell that that child is LGBTQ in some capacity, which leaves them more vulnerable for abuse, right? So like if you see a gay, like you will usually, and not all the time, but you can know when a kid's gay fairly early. At least gay boys, they kind of gravitate towards their mother more feminine stuff. It's just kind of like a thing that happens. And so that could potentially make them easier to pick on or take advantage of in some capacity because they're not like the other boys. They're ostracized a little bit. They're seen as less than by society because they're feminine boys, and like being feminine is wrong, especially for boys, guys. And so, like, I think it's case by case. And then there's instances where, like, you're just gay. You know what I mean? But I think there's instances, I think that, like, it's case by case. I think that there are instances where horrible abuse can manifest itself by making you LGBTQ in some capacity. And sometimes being LGBTQ can cause people, not of no fault of your own, to be targeted by, like, pieces of shit. But either way, I think that the most important thing to understand is that even if people become LGBTQ because of like a very horrific life experience, it doesn't make their identity any less valid. Because that's what transphobic people are saying when they say that somebody who was abused becomes trans. They're just trying to say that it's not valid, but the reality is that like we are shaped by our life experiences. And if you are like violently assaulted by a man, for instance, and it makes it so that like, and let's say you're a woman, and it makes it so that you're gay, like you can't touch a man, that's a valid experience. Why would you need to undo that? Like it's horrible, but like you can't just undo that horrible trauma, and it doesn't make that person less valid. And also possibly, I don't know this person, but maybe they associate the fact that like they look at them and then they look at their sister and they go, I as a little boy was molested horribly and abused by my father, but my sister wasn't. If only I was a girl, maybe I wouldn't have been abused. And if that line of thinking invaded their mind and made them have gender dysphoria and identify as a woman, and that made them happier, then like who are we to sit here and go like, no, you need to go back to the association of you being constantly violently raped. Like, who are we to dictate that? Like, people have life experiences that will change them forever. We know this. We know that there are soldiers, for instance, that get PTSD, and we need to help them work through it. But it's not going to change. It's not going to go away. The only thing that you could do is try to be more sensitive as a society to it. It's fucked. This is real fucked, bro. This shit's heavy, man. But yeah, just wanted to make that
they remember
clear.
it. I have another trans woman friend who her mom will swear that the dad was sexually abusing her little boy, who's now a woman. And you know, both of those trans women have a lot of sex, and I'm not even here to bash that. You know, if that's what helps them live and helps them master their trauma, you know, it is what it is. I have no ill feelings in my heart towards anybody other than sadists and pedophiles, you know, so.
I respect that.
My way of dealing with it, I guess there was a form of mastery involved for a bit until I had some memories come back that were so harsh.
I'm not entirely sure what he means by mastery.
I just couldn't be with guys anymore, you know, and then
Wow.
I had a really slow transition kind of back to where I am now. I lift weights, I play basketball, I paint my nails, but I am a guy. I'm happy being a guy, you know, I'm only interested in women. And that's my way of dealing with it.
Are you at the happiest point in your life right now?
The happiest I've ever been? No.
I wonder what that was.
That other family, I had a brother. He passed away 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago.
I'm assuming that he's referring to like that adopted family of like those people that took him in. This is really sad, dude. I actually might get a little emotional too.
Yeah, my happiest was, just 1 second. Yeah, my happiest was with my brother. So yeah, he was also a drug addict. We saw eye to eye pretty much on everything. I mean, we were brothers. We could finish each other's sentences. He was with me through like the whole transgender stuff too. I remember coming out to him one day. I had started being a little more androgynous, and you know, he always knew. I mean, we had been friends since we were, you know, 13, 14 years old. I told him one day that I think I'm transgender, and he was right in the middle of talking about one of his favorite animes, and I kind of interrupted him and just blurted it out. And he looked at me and he was like, you know, you interrupted me. He didn't care at all. He was just like, we can talk about that later, but I'm talking about this anime right now.
That's some real shit, bro. That's so fucked up, bro. That's so sad. That's so fucking sad, dude. Oh my god. This is horrible. This is actually really upsetting. This is so horrible. Oh my god. This adoptive family that took him in when like his own family was treating him like shit. A family where like his father was violently abusing him to the point, and he still chose to live with the father because somehow the mother was like worse. Like the adopted family, like he had a brother, you know what I mean? And then that's so sad, dude. That's so sad. That's so fucked up. I could not even imagine. This is fucked, man. This is some sad shit.
I don't even think we talked about it later,
Yeah.
You know? It was just how it was.
He passed away from an overdose?
Yeah, we kind of got sober together. We each took our own roads. We relapsed separately, but we'd gotten sober together. The only issue was my brother was a drinker. And with the drinking, there was some Xanax involved. If you're familiar with drugs and brain chemistry, drinking and Xanax, they hit the same receptors in the brain. So you can give an alcoholic in withdrawal Xanax and it'll get them right. And conversely, you can give a Xanax addict alcohol and it'll kind of keep them right somewhat, much like heroin to pain pills. And my brother had never really shook that monkey of drinking and Xanax. I never really played around with much Xanax, and I'm not a drinker. I was much more of a hardcore drug addict. And my brother never smoked as much crack as I had smoked.
Wow.
But he always had that monkey on his back, and he started going downhill really bad about a year before he died. I mean, he had tried to quit Xanax cold turkey. He had the seizures. I remember waiting for him to get out of the hospital, and he came out of the hospital, and he was like a different person. I mean, to anybody watching this, if you're going to play with drugs, don't ever play with Xanax. And I always knew that as a young drug addict. You know, you can quit heroin, you can quit crack, you can quit all these things, and for the most part, you'll go back to being the person that you were when you started using drugs. Xanax and meth, those two things are different stories. If you get far into those drugs, you can get sober, but the person that you once were in my opinion, will be gone.
Isn't that fucked though? Like really, what's really so fucked is that like Xanax is a prescription drug. A prescription drug is one of the most addictive substances like that are out there. How fucked up is that? How fucked up is it that like these like companies kind of got? How fucked is it that these companies like got away with it? You know.
So my brother got out of the hospital, and yeah, he was kind of a different person. He was nervous all the time. He could barely hold a conversation. I tried to be there for him, but he always wanted to be alone. And he had already had one kidney from drinking and drugs. And I knew he was fooling around after he got out of the hospital with Xanax and alcohol and things. And he ended up passing away from he was real drunk one night, and he was playing with a can of air duster. And I guess there's a chemical in air duster, tetrafluorocarbon. It's a very heavy molecule. It displaces oxygen from the lungs. That's how they get their high on different inhalants. It's actually not really a high. It's more so just depriving the brain of oxygen. You can think of the choking game that young boys play in high school, which my brother did play. I never played the choking game. I thought myself above such activities as a young queer kid growing up. So yeah, that's how my brother passed away. I actually saw him pass away.
Jesus.
I was at a neighbor's house hanging out with their kids, and I had gotten a phone call from our dad, his dad. They were on vacation, and he said I should go check up on Steve. I guess my brother had called his parents in kind of a frantic state, and I came back to the house and heard a sound like someone trying to start a car that wouldn't start, I was with the neighbor at the time, and we ran around the corner of the house, and we saw my brother there, and he had a significant amount of brain damage from the oxygen deprivation already. I got into MMA after basketball, so I kind of knew some of the signs of like CTE, and when people get knocked out, he had some of this going on right before he was dying, right before he died. He died there once, and then I guess they resuscitated him in the ambulance, and he died again on the way to the hospital. Yeah. And it's funny. My brother was also pretty queer growing up, but he was straight. He always had beautiful girlfriends, surprisingly. But we were having a conversation about 2 months before he died, and he actually disclosed to me that there are some things he's never told anybody before, and his family's Mormon. His mom was a convert into the Mormon religion, and Mormons treat converts differently than they do people that are born as Mormon. So my brother, being born as Mormon, would spend a lot of time in this church as a young boy, actually away from his mom. And he told me he was sexually abused by the Mormon, by some of the guys in this Mormon church. And in the town where I grew up, in the suburb of Chicago, there was actually a higher up of a big Mormon collection of churches that's in prison right now for molesting young boys. So I don't like religion. My dad is a Christian. My biological dad is a Christian. He's pretty devout about it too. He's wandered from his faith. And
how could you be a devout Christian and fucking do such a horrible thing to to any child? So fucked up.
He's come back to it. Now he says he's a born again Christian. He speaks to churches about how hard he had it growing up, and I'm the evil, cross-dressing drug addict that's not a Christian. Yeah, so
it's fucked up, dude. This is one of the it's so funny because there are a lot of I have issues with a lot of different stuff. I think that people do. Bro, I have such an issue with forgiveness sometimes. Just a fundamental I think that there are things everybody should be people should be forgiven for. There's always things. But intentionally hurting a child, if all you have to do is repent your sins, and God's like, yeah, you molested a kid, you can come in. Why would you even want to follow that God? Why would you even want to follow a God like that? Just the way I fucking say it,
that's not the case.
What are you afraid of now? What are you worried about?
I'm most worried about myself. I'll never go back to drugs. I'll be honest, it's hard for me to hold a job sometimes. Maybe it's just the life that I've lived growing up, not working often and doing other things for money that paid a lot better than working. So right now, I'm most worried about myself as a traumatized person. You know, for traumatized people, we can really be our own worst enemies. I mean, we're in LA right now. I mean, you could look outside and see a lot of people that are indeed their own worst enemy. And I'm at a point in life where I don't want to be that way. I want to work with myself. I want to work through this. I don't want a normal job. I don't want to just be a worker bee. I want to find a way to help people or do something meaningful in the world. And that's hard to do. You know, I've volunteered at a lot of women's shelters, like domestic violence homes, since I've gotten sober, because sometimes I feel like if my mom had a safe place to go growing up, that it wouldn't have been as bad. Maybe she would have left my dad and not allowed her kids to be in the presence of a sadistic pedophile.
Interesting. That's so interesting. That's so complicated. That's just such a complicated thing he just said. Because before we were I brought up the question of like why choose the father over the mother, you know? And it's like an interesting question. And I brought up the fact that like the mother might have been in a situation where she felt like she couldn't leave. Because her or her kids might have gotten hurt. But then, you know, she was able to protect the daughter more than the son, which was also another curious thing to me. I was like, well, did she have more of a choice than we're letting on? I don't think that we're ever going to know. But it sounds like what he's telling us is that like she did feel unsafe being there. And then maybe if there was some kind of a woman's shelter, she would have been able to walk away. And potentially protect him and, you know, the daughter and herself. But what I find interesting, and I feel like I've heard this before, and I don't understand it. I don't know. It's something I probably never understand. Is that there seems to be an equal amount, if not more, animosity towards the mother for not protecting him than the father for abusing him. And it just seems like such a complicated array of emotions. And like, well, I just want to know, why do they feel that way? Or do they feel that way? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even like angry or anything. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. And I'm never going to. And that's like a privilege that I'm never going to understand that, you know? Because I feel like you'd have to like really live that to understand why, you know? Damn. That's crazy. That's just a lot. That's harsh. That's very deep. That's just very deep.
And she tried. I mean, I remember going to stay with her mom, which was my grandma at the time. And as a child, you don't understand. You know, I actually remember saying, I miss my dad. I miss my mom. And my mom telling me, you know, she's sorry about that, but I shouldn't be around him. And then we would move back into the house with him, and the abuse would continue because he knew he could get away with it. So yeah, you know, I want a job where I can help people, and you know, my biggest fears are just as a traumatized person. Sometimes I isolate myself, and just working through all this trauma. You know, yeah. Another big fear of mine is I'm afraid of him. I'm still worried that he has some sense of power over me. I even worry about coming on this podcast. You know, I don't know if he's ever going to reach out to me again one day, trying to sue me for defamation or anything. You know, I believe I already brought it up, how I had confronted him over what he had done to me. And he actually leaned into my recording phone as I was confronting him, and he was like, yeah, I did what I did to you, and you know, so what? Get over it. Kind of taunting me. You know, he's proud of what he's done deep down. And I, you know, there's just, I know I've watched some of your videos, Mark, as far as getting out of these circles of trauma. And love, understanding, and forgiveness is going to be one of our only ways out. And it's hard for me to find any of those. I definitely don't have any understanding as to why anybody would want to do something like this to a kid. Yeah. My only guess is that it happened to him when he was a boy. And his solution, and it's not a solution, but his solution to make himself feel better is to do it to other little boys.
That's totally possible. But isn't it's so fucked? It's like additionally fucked up, because like what this is communicating to me is that like this guy is trying to rationalize how somebody could have done this to anybody, or himself. You know what I mean? Like you're in that thing. It's like, because I don't get it. Like, why would you do that? Like, there has to be a reason. There has to be a reason. Maybe he's the victim in his own sense. Like, it's just what a fucking profoundly traumatic experience.
And I don't understand any of that. I don't have any love for pedophiles, for sadistic people, especially people that are going to go and do this to a child. I just can't fathom. And the last one is forgiveness. You know, there's actually some days where I've gotten really close to forgiving him. I'm sober now. I smoke pot at night. And maybe I'm not sober because there's been a couple instances where I've tried psilocybin mushrooms in small doses. And I can remember about a year ago, after my brother had passed, I'd taken a small dose of psilocybin mushrooms, and I started with my yoga practice and meditation. I was going to journal some, play guitar, draw, and as these mushrooms kicked in, I felt sorry for my dad, like really sorry. I mean, I started crying because in that moment, I couldn't fathom what it was like to be him. I felt really bad for him. I mean, I was like sobbing by myself. That's how bad I felt for my dad. And if I could have connected with him in that moment, I would have forgiven him. And I would have been worried about the salvation of his soul.
Wow.
I'm in line with a lot of Buddhist principles. So I know it's within me to forgive him, and just because of that little story I told. But it's intermittent, you know, and that's kind of what I'm working on. I'd like to forgive him in a sense, but you know, it's hard when you confront someone that was raping you.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we can invent a lot of other words for it, child molestation, pedophilia, but the best word for it is he's a child rapist. He rapes children forcibly.
Yeah.
When you confront someone like this and you find out that they enjoy rubbing it in your face, yeah, so what, get over it. It's really hard to forgive him. I've offered to pay for therapy for him and I to go to therapy. He doesn't want anything to do with it. So I guess it's a journey I'm going to have to take on my own.
I wonder if it seems like he's trying really hard to like try to get into a situation where he can forgive his father. I wonder if that has more to do with his father or for him. And not even in like a bad way. Like that's not even me criticizing him in any capacity. But I wonder if like some of the motivation is like for him. I wonder if it's like he needs that. He needs to be able to forgive his father to like move on. You know what I mean? I wonder if that's like the motivation for like really almost desperately trying to get into that situation. And I totally would understand that. I totally would get it. I mean, I wouldn't fully be able to personally understand it because it's just fucking intense, like, you know, beyond, I think, something that I could ever truly empathize with. But like, I get it like enough as I think as like a normal person could, you know?
As far as understanding forgiveness and love.
Because yeah, like he definitely deserves that. I mean, if you're that, well, I mean, if you're that father, you should fucking kill yourself. But man, at the very least, try to do that for your fucking son after ruining their life like that.
Love. And if I can't forgive him and understand it and come out of it with a sense of love, I just don't want to live my life with hate any longer because it really inhibits a lot of what I want to do. You said, what am I afraid of? I'm afraid of living my life as a hateful person. And I'm not where I want to be. I do have a lot of hate in my heart towards
of course, yeah.
Towards pedophiles, towards these types of people, towards the politicians that give these people 2 to 3 years in jail and then they get out and do the same thing again. I mean, you can go on the sex offenders registry. There's probably 15 pedophiles within a few miles of me at any point in America. And they're repeat offenders. And I don't want to rile myself up right now, which would be easy to do. But I don't want to live the rest of my life, you know, a hateful person who's consumed by the fact that pedophiles do exist. A lot of times they're treated better than their victims.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, like I'm somebody who's, I think that like if you're somebody with the thoughts and you get help before you act on those thoughts, I can be on board with like, you know, helping you manage them. But once you commit the act, I mean, I'm just going to be real with you. I really don't like, I really feel like we have like the movement, like rehabilitation movement has gone a little too far in some instances. I feel like rehab, like There are some people who simply should not be able to be rehabilitated. Even if they could, they just don't deserve the second chance. I think that if you molest a child, there's no reason not to kill that person or to apply capital punishment to that person. I don't understand it. I mean, you know, I just don't get it. It just seems like such a fucking waste to me.
And yeah, I guess that's one of my biggest fears. So
All right, Jake. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
yeah,
Wow.
thanks for having me, Mark, and thanks for all the work you do.
I
So
wish you lots of luck with your journey.
thanks.
Thank you very
Wow.
much.
That was an incredible video. That was an incredible video. Jesus Christ. What do you mean pointless murder? What does that mean? Wow. That was heavy, man.
Sarah D super chatted $5. Hey Poppy, you should send a Discord alert out when you go live on YouTube.
I gotta get that set up. Killing them is not going to fix the issue. Why not? Like, it's not about fixing the issue. It's about why should we support somebody who would do something so horrible? Why should we support them with our taxpayer dollars? If you molest a child, why should you be able to get rehabilitated? It's probably not going to work after you've already committed the offense. Anyway, that's what the statistics show from what I've seen. So what's the point of keeping that person alive? You're cool with them being held away from society to be forced to work for taxpayers? Why? That takes away jobs from a taxpayer who's not a fucking child molester. So why not? You know? Everyone deserves a second chance? I disagree. It depends on what it is. There are people who deserve second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chances. If they do something, oh, I stole from my mom or my dad. Yeah, you could forgive those people. Maybe they rob a store. I can forgive that person. Nobody got hurt. You molest a child? I don't think that you deserve a second chance on anything, ever. Not everybody deserves a second chance. It's just like, it depends on what you do. I mean, I think that we're just like, we have to knock it off with like the niceties. But your best, the best argument you could give me, that's why we shouldn't engage in capital punishment, is that an innocent person has to put somebody else to death, and that could really make them upset, and that could fuck their lives up. That's the only argument that I would ever be like, okay, I get that. You know? That's what it is. Yeah. You know? So I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then we will reevaluate what we're going to do next, because that was such a fucking heavy segment, bro. That was a lot. So just give me a minute. I will be right back. What are we still talking about here? What are we still talking about? Rehabilitation for non-offenders. Absolutely. Oh, shit, $50. Give me a second, Brandon. I appreciate that. Let me just get these things. Yeah, rehabilitation for non-offending people. People who come forward. My thing is that, like, okay, so I think we all know that people have addictive personalities. So, like, there's people who get, like, gamblers. Their whole family is addicted to gambling. Or, you know, alcohol users. Their whole family is addicted to alcohol. Right? If we stop them from drinking alcohol, they're probably going to have a much better time in life. It's going to be easier for them to not drink alcohol if they never drink it in the first place. I think same thing for somebody that has like attraction to children. I can be on board with providing mental health resources to that person so that they don't molest kids, especially if we don't provide that. They're just going to sit back and they're not going to go get help and they're going to end up molesting. You know what I mean? Like if we're going to kill all pedophiles, people who just have the attraction, no one's going to come forward. We're going to have a net loss outcome, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Like that's the reality. So just like, hey, we'll provide you mental health resources if you come forward. I don't want to know about it, but you provide it to a mental health professional. They can help you work through your shit. Bada bing, bada boom. We're protecting that person, but more than that, we're protecting children. But once you abuse a child, I'm sure that there would be plenty of people who could get very meaningful jobs out of applying capital punishment to people like that. I'm just saying.
Kate became a member.
Hey, thank you so much for the membership. I really appreciate that. Damn, that video was really upsetting though. That was a real deep video, bro. That video was real deep.
Isn't it SR super chatted $4.99?
Hey.
We're growing a culture of people who believe too much in people.
True, I don't know exactly what that was referring to.
Brandon Yon sent
Are you talking about me?
$50.
Damn, brother, $50.
These videos have been an absolute lifesaver over the last few months. Stoked to finally catch you live. Keep doing your thing, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for the $50. You really didn't have to do that. If you want it back, let me know. How's Molly Gut doing? She's doing good. She's in the chat. I haven't seen her in a while. She's been in the chat. These are my only mod now. Damn. Man, that was intense. Wow. Wow, that video was so good. That video was so good. I know that I know I'm like being silly about it, but that video was so good. Like that, it's been a long time since I've listened. You know? It's been such a long time since I sat down and I listened to a genuine person give a genuine experience, and I let them walk their experience through me. You know what I mean? Like I did my best to be empathetic. You know how you listen, you hear somebody talking, or you listen and you try to feel somebody talking. You know what I mean? Like you try to feel what they're feeling. You know, you can, and it's easier because they're so genuine about it. That's what that video did for me. You know what I mean? Like that was such an intense real video. Like the amount of honest God, the amount of courage to could you imagine that happening to you? And being able to talk to people about it. I love you too, baby. Take care. Have a good time at work. Like that's a lot. Text me. Damn. Let's see. Donations to this. So what does this GoFundMe for? Donations to the Soft Underbelly GoFundMe campaign are shared with 5,000 people who have been interviewed by the examples of how these funds are used include providing housing for the homeless, especially those caring for children, transportation to go to the children. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna donate to that. A custom tip for GoFundMe. I'm gonna go fund yourself. You sussy baka. Oh shit. Let's see.
Agent Quavy super chatted $1.99. Are you trans?
Yeah, I definitely am. Okay. Wow, that was crazy. Trans, you're a fucking idiot. I remember that meme. I'm sorry. I'm just like a fucking. I'm not like in a joke. I'm like still, obviously that was like a very heavy segment, so I'm like still a little bit like oof, you know. Wow, a lot of heavy stuff. That was intense, brother. Are we even in the mood for the Sneeko shit? Who cares about Sneeko in this chat? Like, because I feel like this video, Sneeko had a reaction to like some video. Like, I just feel like I don't care. Is that just me? I'm gonna watch another video. Not another soft white underbelly right now. That would be a little too. We watched that one Sneeko from Dantavius. He's a buddy of mine. He's cool, but like I don't really care about like it's like 2.5 hours worth of Sneeko is situation. It's gonna be like a 3 or 4 hour reaction. Like I don't give a shit. Yeah, I've heard of the Try Guys. I talked about it before. I actually talked about it earlier in this stream. Wigglelicious. I like that. Wigglelicious. Wiggle-ishous. Damn. What do we got here? Everything in here is like somewhat heavy of a topic. What do we do? What do we do? I'm so fucked up right now, dude. I'm so fucked up right now. This shit's too intense for me. Damn. Can we never watch Sneeko again? Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Especially 3 hours of Sneeko. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, who gives a shit? Iceberg. I know people want me to watch this. Well, this Lieutenant Corbus is probably pretty good. The Gendy Tartakovskys. That's not a bad one. I just don't know. This is a pretty intense video from what I've seen. I kind of want to watch it. But it's a lot. Let's watch it.
And all my lesbian friends can control themselves.
That's good. I'm very happy about that. I'm just trying to express the world that we live in.
I get it.
I have a hard
Count
time with
Dooku
clothes.
super chatted $1.99. I've been looking forward to this.
Thank you, Count Dooku. Give me a minute. I'm going to pause the alerts now.
It's so tight. Because it makes a lot of men that are like me out there, honey. And I know it's not your problem, and you can say that all you want, and that's fine. I'm speaking from my heart. If you weren't my daughter and I saw you dressed like that, I'd struggle with it.
So listen, okay. I'm like half on board with what this person is saying. So this so far is a dad that's apparently the daughter's dressed in a way that's considered inappropriate. And he's like, I don't think you should dress like that. That's perfectly reasonable. I think it's perfectly reasonable boundary for a dad to be like, yeah, don't dress like that. There are gross men out there that are going to like do gross things and they're going to like make gross comments and I want you to protect yourself. But the comment of saying, if you weren't my daughter and I saw you dressed like that, I'd struggle with it. That is not communicating. Why would you need to struggle with it? Why would you struggle with that? Right? Like, I get it. I feel like we're at that point on the internet where people are like, if they're like, yeah, I don't want my daughter wearing like booty shorts around the house. I think it's gross. I don't want to see my daughter like that. And people are like, yeah, you're a pedophile. That's not true. Like, the dad just doesn't want to see that. You know what I mean? It's like they just don't want to see it. They think it's inappropriate. They think it's gross. But if you struggle with like watching young girls your daughter's age like dress like that, that's gross. Like, dude, I'm not going to want my daughter to dress like that. It's gross. Right? It's the same reason I don't want to watch my mom walk around in a fucking bra and panties. I don't think my mom's hot or sexy, but I don't want to see her in like that sexualized way. It's fucking disgusting. You know what I mean? That's like your family. But to say I would start, honey, I would struggle with that myself. Why? Why would you struggle with that? Why would you struggle with that? What's the struggle? I don't get that.
And that's wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely wrong.
And I wish that there were things I could do in my perspective to help that from happening. And all I can do at my perspective, because of who I am, is pray.
I mean, yeah, if we're being super generous, he's just trying to communicate to her as effectively as possible. I feel like what he's saying is kind of creepy. The absolute best, and this is being tremendously charitable to this guy, is that like he is some kind of sexual deviant that is super religious, and like religion is actually working for him to not be a disgusting fuck. But the way that he's talking about this to me is what over the line. I would just say like go put something else on. You're not leaving the house like that. That's all I would say. I'm not struggling with anything. Okay? You're gonna be struggling to not be able to talk to your friends. I'm taking on your phone. I'm not gonna buy you. I wouldn't let my wife buy clothes like that for my daughter. Whatever he's talking about. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna struggle with anything. It's disgusting. That's your daughter. What are you saying that shit?
About this video makes my fucking skin crawl. The tone.
Oh, I didn't know that 2/3 of this was going to be commentary from somebody like this.
The fact that he went into her room to have this conversation. The fact that he's even having this.
Well, the fact that he went to her room to have a conversation is irrelevant to me. I feel like that's going. Like, I don't think that has anything to do with anything. I think he was just trying to talk to his daughter about this. But okay.
Conversation. Like, you really to have this conversation. The fact that he's even having this fucking conversation.
The conversation in and of itself is perfectly reasonable to have. I don't understand. This is what I'm talking about, bro. I hate people on TikTok. It's just like there's nothing nuanced there anymore. There never was, except for when I was on there. It's just like I disagree with your opinion, and like I'm right this time, I guess. You know what I mean? I'm more right, I guess. But you don't even know why you're right. Like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I think it's perfectly reasonable to ask your daughter to like not wear clothes, depending on what it is. You know what I mean? I'm going to assume that it was like a little provocative. He's like, you're not wearing that. That's a perfectly normal thing for a father to do. Like I said, it's not like oh, you think your daughter's sexy? Let me ask you a question. Let's say your daughter's walking around like something inappropriate, or I feel inappropriate, like booty shorts and like a really low cut shirt, like something, and she's like, I'm gonna go out like this. I'd say, no, you're not. That's too sexual. You know, I don't want you going out like that. And you'd be like, oh, so you find me sexy? Okay. No. Take that same clothing that's on the daughter, put it on your mom. Do you want to see that? Personally, I don't. I love my mother to death. I don't want to see her in fucking booty shorts and some weird fucking like string top. Okay? There's nothing to do with me finding it sexy. It has something to do with me not wanting to look at somebody that is a family member with sexualized clothing. Because it's weird. It has nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have gaslit themselves. Especially since, like, we know, bro. Like, listen, there are bad men and there are bad women. But there's a lot more creepy men that'll comment on women's bodies than there are creepy women who will comment on women's bodies. So as a father, as a man, it's your responsibility to protect your son and daughter, mostly your daughter in this instance, from being ogled. So you do the best thing that you can do to teach your kid to be safe. Because like we can sit here and we can educate society as much as we can on like how you shouldn't make other women uncomfortable. I agree, we should do that. But at the end of the day, bad people are going to keep doing bad things. You know what I mean? It's the same reason why we teach kids to look both ways before crossing the street. Yeah, the car should be paying attention and not hit you. But you want to know what? They're going to do it. Somebody's going to be an asshole and they're going to do it. You need to do the best that you can to protect yourself. You know what I mean? I hate to quote Ben Shapiro, but like, you know, you shouldn't be walking through a neighborhood with $100 over your head. If you got robbed, it's not your fault. But you didn't need to, but that wasn't helping. You know what I'm saying? Doing this wasn't helping. That's why like I hate the discourse on TikTok. There's just nothing intelligent about the discourse. Everybody's a fucking predator now. Everything's a this, everything's a that, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Like, you really sat there and ignored what she just said.
I don't
Her
think she said
lesbian
anything.
friends who are attracted to the very exact same thing you are attracted to, sir, have self-control enough to not act the way you do when you see something you like.
Now, listen, I don't know what the statistics are about lesbians committing sexual offenses, whatever. I don't really care. I would argue most people's friends would be more respectful to the person that they're friends with. It's like, yeah, my lesbian friends are, yeah, okay, they're your friends. But I don't care about lesbian friends. I care about the guy on the street that's 10 years older than you, that's going to whistle at you and maybe follow you to your car and make you uncomfortable. And I want to do the most that we can do to mitigate that. So you want to know what? Dress up. Sorry. And if that guy does something to you, it's not your fault. But like, do your best to like, keep yourself safe, man. That's all it's about. We don't need to turn this into like a whole like, oh, see, lesbians are better than straight guys. Maybe. Who cares, bro? It's just about keeping your daughter safe. You know?
You ignored that by choice and continued your creepy ass speech. I call it a speech because
that part
there
was
legit
true.
No logic behind
No, there
it.
was actually a lot of logic behind it. The problem is that the dad was still creepy because he's like, I would struggle if you weren't my daughter. Ew. Why? What are you, like 40, 30 or 40 years old? I would struggle if I don't know how old the girl is. Let's say she's like 16. I would struggle if I saw a 16-year-old dressed like that. Why? I wouldn't struggle at all. You know what I would do? If I saw a 16-year-old girl dressed like really like sexualized in public, after I walk past her, I turn to my wife and say, what a shame. That's what I do. And she'd go, yep. I'm going to judge you. If you dress like something like that in public and you're a child, I'm going to judge you and your parents and to my wife. We're going to be gossipy about it. We're going to get to that car and be like, what a terrible parents. That's what we're going to do. And you'd be like, oh, that's horrible. So stop doing it, bro. I don't give a fuck. That's what we're going to do. We're going to gossip. We're going to be like, what kind of a parent lets their daughter dress like that? That's what we're going to do. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. That's what's going to happen, dude. That's what's going to happen. Because we're catty. That's what dog sounds. Meow, 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 meow. There you go. I don't give a fuck. That's what we're going to do. If you want to save yourself the embarrassment, okay, send her to the church. Put her in a nun outfit. Okay, put her in the robes. Put her in the garb. Okay? Buy some appropriate clothes. Buy her a nice pair of pants and a nice shirt. Okay? Doesn't need to be walking around with like fucking I don't even want to say. Okay? I don't even want to say.
It was disgusting. Apparently you're the stepfather, which makes it even more fucking disgusting.
Oh, is that her stepfather? That does make it really weird.
God only fucking knows what you would do if you could.
This is the problem with porn. Stepfather's probably like, I saw porn like this before. Ugh.
For you to sit there and be like, I wish there was something that I can do. Yeah. Fucking go to therapy. Go fucking learn about self-control. Go understand that that's not normal. That's some predator-ass mentality bullshit.
I agree. I just feel like she thinks the entire conversation came off as like potentially predatory, whereas my part was more like if you weren't my daughter, I'd struggle. That's the part that makes me very uncomfortable.
Oh, you're going to sit there and rely on faith. Oh, my God. Talk about we're fucking doomed. So back in the day when women were fully clothed and they showed the little ankle, y'all lost your fucking minds.
Okay.
Crop tops became a thing. Y'all lost your fucking minds.
Okay.
Now you can't even be fully clothed wearing tight clothing.
I don't even know what the clothing is they're referring to. It was never established at all in the video. What is this? 2 minutes and 10 seconds in? There's nothing established in here that what you're saying. Oh, I guess downstairs is POV. You come home from the gym wearing tight clothes. I don't know the specifics. It could have been an overreaction. We never got to see her clothing, so I don't really know. But fundamentally, I agree with like policing of clothing.
Lose their fucking minds.
Yeah, this is the video.
At what point do y'all not like? When are you gonna get it through your heads? It's not us. It's you. It don't matter what the fuck we're wearing. You guys sexualize women no matter what.
Yeah.
She could have fucking been working out in a fucking potato sack, and you would still be like, "Damn, shorty, them lumps."
Probably not. I mean, it really has to do with an association with like sexualization and particular clothing. If she was just in a gym outfit, then that makes it extra creepy. And I don't agree with like the policing of a gym outfit, like yoga pants or whatever. But again, like fundamentally, if she's dressing like super inappropriately, I get it.
So like, ugh, bro. Now I get it. Now I fucking get it. Because my mom used to always say after my father, like after she kicked that bitch out, she would always say that she was not replacing, no one's taking his space because of this. Because men are fucking creepy.
Some are, sure.
Holy shit, us women are so fucked. I fucking hate it here, bro.
Okay.
I fucking hate it here.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Hey, at least that wasn't as bad as that last segment, am I right? Am I right, guys? Let's see. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see something. What is this? Oh, you bastard bitch. I hit the wrong button. Did not want to do that. Get out of here, motherfucker. I want to see if Classic is actually working now, if they're still running stuff on it, because I'm going to watch a video while I play. We're going to watch not Christian, though. Is it good? Is the game good? Is it good? Good? What is boy in a band? What does that mean? Boy in a band. I'll look it up because people keep asking me and then they don't send me like any resources or something. Anything, you silly gooses. You silly geese. You silly geese.
Isn't SR super chatted
thank you for the-
$1.99. Christian.
Thank you. Okay, I might watch the cult, the VR cult. What is boy in a, what is this thing? This guy is doing something suspicious. This guy's doing something suspicious. I could just tell based on what they look like. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let's see.
Talking about.
Is this what we're talking about? The boy in a band? Let's see what we got.
In this video, I'm going to be talking about some very sensitive topics, and I want to make sure you guys know that these are just allegations. As of yet, Boyinaband has not responded to any of the claims made against him. Also,
bro, can I just tell you something, though? Like, all jokes aside, everything is so centralized around, like, these types of topics nowadays. Like, it's crazy. What Reddit thing are we talking about?
if you guys could like and share this video, that would be greatly appreciated, as most likely YouTube is not going to push this out due to the subject matter. So I'm sure you guys know who Boyinaband is. He's a pretty popular YouTuber, has over 3 million subscribers, and has worked with creators such as PewDiePie and Jaden Animations. Now, a couple years ago, he ended up disappearing off of the internet, and over a year ago, he would post on his community.
Mention on Twitter, I'm trying some new meds. They were going good. Things are really rough. A lot of confusing variables. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, he's just talking about his medication.
Tab, talking about his struggles with his mental health and finding medication that could help him. And over the last year, Boyinaband has been completely silent, and a lot of people have wondered what exactly happened to him. Well, recently, a group of girls ended up coming forward, detailing his alleged abuse on his subreddit. Dave from Boyinaband, over a decade of abuse underneath an almost perfect public persona.
First of all, thank you for time. We want to know that we're okay. Some time a group of his ex-partners wrote a letter to his family in hopes of stopping the ongoing pattern of abuse. Below, you can read the letter. We know there were more victims in the past. If you're one of them, we didn't find this. Okay, apologize. Okay. We are a group of girls who knew and dated David in real life, depending on the person, 1 to 6 years. Some of us met, some of them personally. I guess I should have to find
persona.
This.
Dear fans of Dave from Boyinaband, first of all, thank you for your time and understanding. We want you to know that we intended and tried to handle this as privately and as quietly as possible. Some time ago, a group of his ex-partners wrote a letter to his family in hopes of stopping the outgoing pattern of abuse. Below, you can read that letter. We know there were more victims of his in the past, and if you're one of them and we didn't find you before, message us. All we want to do is tell you that you're not alone and that none of it was your fault. Thank you. Dear Brown family, friends, and fans of Dave from Boyinaband, we apologize for contacting you this way. We are a group of girls who knew and dated David in real life for, depending on the person, 1 to 6 years. Some of us met some of you personally. We know you love David and want to see him as a good person and a role model. We were also the people who once loved him and cared about him deeply. We understand that you want to see him happy. Still, decades of enabling his abusive behavior have led to many horrific and dangerous situations that included years of lies, manipulation, and emotional, financial, physical, and even sexual abuse of many young girls. As you know, David is now a 35-year-old polyamorous man with over a decade.
First red flag.
Of provable history of dating girls much younger than him, including his highly gullible, obsessive young fans. As you know, he once dated Rachel.
I will say, like, just to go on to that, like, fundamentally, this is a very new conversation that I don't think we ever have at all. I think it's probably time to like have this conversation. Probably between a group of like larger influencers about like power dynamics and how those affect different people. And we're just doing fundamental. We're not going to get into any ages right now. We're just going to do this like very fundamentally. So like, you know, keep it at that for right now. Much younger than him. If they're not of a legal age, then we don't really need to have the nuanced conversation about power dynamics because like they're not of a legal age, so it's gross. However, if we're talking about obsessive or fans, I mean, I feel like the word obsessive, I mean, is probably fans that like liked him a lot. And they're like, oh my God, whatever, David, I like you so much. Like, I'm a fan of yours and I want to like, you know, be with you in some capacity. That's like groupie behavior. Fundamentally, I don't think that that's such a big deal to date your fans, you know? If it's one of your fans, like, okay. Like, yeah, they knew you before then and whatnot, but it doesn't make it an abusive situation. Like a lot of times, like, oh, if you're like a famous rich person, somebody might want to be with you more because they like you more. That fundamentally, we're not talking about age restrictions. That fundamentally, I'm not going to have like a super problem with. I feel like it's a little bit of moral loading. When it comes to the young part, we're gonna have a conversation about that, of course. But like when it comes to somebody being a fan of somebody, them dating them, I personally don't think it's a big deal, as long as you're of like a consenting age, right? Okay.
Who was 17 when he was 23. Rachel was a fan of his band and fell in love with him when she was just 15 years old.
Okay, so this is like another problem. Is where does like this dipshit in a band live? The unfortunate reality here is that, and this is super unfortunate, age of consent, we need to have a huge conversation about age of consent. And I don't mean just making the standard 18. I mean like conversations about potentially like a little bit more nuance, like maybe somebody 18 or old, like shouldn't be able to date somebody over 25 kind of a thing. Because like we know that we don't finish developing mentally till we're like 25 years old. There's so much there. Unfortunately, people are saying that this person is from the UK. What is it? Famous birthdays? I'll look up. Let me just confirm that. Unfortunately, my understanding, he's from England. Unfortunately, age of consent is 16 in England. I think from a moral perspective, you shouldn't be talking to anybody under the age of 18. You know, like, I mean, within like a 4 or 5 year age, well, no, like a 4-year age gap, I guess. Yeah, 4-year age gap. What the hell am I saying? Like a 17-year-old shouldn't really be talking to anybody over like 21. Even that might be a little high. But the problem is that when you have laws that support this behavior, this is the biggest issue that we have here, is the country itself and the rules that surround it, more than the person like following those rules. I know a lot of people get very uncomfortable, but realistically speaking, there's a lot of anger towards people for, you know, engaging legally, which there should be moral shaming for this. Like if people are like, oh, I find this guy disgusting, I don't want to associate with them anymore, I agree. But like the fact that we like there's no active movement to change the age of consent in England. You know what I mean? That's like a huge issue. You know? And I think that the law needs to be the number one thing that protects these young girls, because you shouldn't be fucking with some 17-year-old girl at 23. But I wouldn't call that like predatory behavior. I call that inappropriate behavior based on this. The fact that she was in love with him since she was 15, I mean, like, she liked him a lot from 15. Again, like, that doesn't necessarily matter to me too much, because, like, that's just kind of a thing that, like, you know, if you're famous, people are going to like you before you even know who they are. That's kind of how this thing works. I'm not necessarily concerned with, like, her liking him beforehand, but we really need to have conversations about changing the laws, because this kind of behavior shouldn't be appropriate, but the fact that the laws support it means that, unfortunately, it's considered societally appropriate, which I think is a really big problem.
David ended up hitting her and telling that to at least
Jesus.
two of his future girlfriends.
Well, that's horrible. I mean, this guy, like that, he ended up hitting her.
We can also prove. Let us add that this relationship in many countries would be considered as pedophilia. There are
I just want to be like very. It wouldn't be considered pedophilia in any country. I just read through a DSM overview about like what like the legal classification of pedophilia is. Not to be all technical, but like pedophilia, the person has to be 13 or younger, and there has to be like a 5-year age gap. And the person committing the pedophilia has to be 16 or older. Usually, if it's somebody younger than 16, it would be contributed to potentially some kind of like a behavioral issue. I'm just trying to be like completely accurate here when we talk about these things. There needs to be law changes, but like this is just kind of an objectively not true thing to be said. I'm just letting that you know that part for context. I mean, I think that's very appropriate to bring that up.
There are 2 videos on his channel that include 17-year-old Rachel. In one, he brags about waking up next to her. And the second, he makes her sing a song with the following lyrics. Take me without my consent.
That's
and
weird.
I'll play that right now.
Okay, feel free to post your track as a video response to this one. Now it's time to sit back and take a listen to the final finished 7-day dance pop song.
Without my consent. Without my consent.
He has a...
What is that? What just happened there? Is that a song that he was doing? He makes her sing a song with the phone. Like what? I don't even understand like what that was. What, did he make a song? Is that a popular song already? Is he creating it? Okay.
Pattern of preying on his young fans after they admire him and write to him on his social media. He starts to date them. He then tells them how much he loves them, that they are replaceable, and finally
he tells them how much they love him, that they're replaceable. Okay, this is obviously like some really big red flag behavior.
Charges them for new ones as soon as they disagree or refuse to do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
most of these encounters include
there.
him renting an Airbnb to be with those girls for a few weeks, then discarding them. We know this is difficult for you to read, but it needs to be said. He also has a provable porn addiction that includes him being attracted to pre-teenage girls.
Wow, that's a lot of accusations. Okay, Jesus Christ.
Women who dress to look like children, abusive porn, and assaults. He's a hebephile.
I would just need to kind of know what that they're referring to. Like if he's into like schoolgirl or porn. I mean, I would need to know what they're referring to, because we're like living in this weird online space where everything's pedophilia now. If this guy likes schoolgirl porn, like, yeah, that's like a little bit weird because the girls are dressing younger, but I wouldn't really classify that as him being attracted to preteen girls. You know what I mean? Preteen girls who dress like children, abusive. Yeah, it's women who dress like children. So like, absolutely red flag, weird shit. But I don't think that it's necessarily accurate to classify that as him being attracted to pre-teenage girls because he likes porn with, like, I guess girls dressing in fucking schoolgirl outfits. You know what I mean? It's one of those like problems with like the people who are coming forward. It seems like they have some definitely like concerning information on this person, but some of the way that they're expressing it doesn't come off as like particularly accurate. This is one of those instances.
It's sickening, especially considering that he dedicated his career to helping struggling young people and ended up harming many of them. Many of his past partners ended up in years of therapy due to the trauma caused by David. He has a pattern of dating and sleeping with a specific group of girls, younger. Most of his
I'm more interested in hearing about like this pattern of abusive behavior more than anything else.
Recent girlfriends who were 10 or more years younger than him, over whom...
Well, if he's 35 and they're 25, I don't really care. You know what I mean? If he's 35 and dating 18-year-olds, I think that's weird. And again, I think we need to have a conversation as a society about how like maybe that shouldn't be a thing. But like if it's legal, I don't really know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
He has power and control, and who will never be his equals. What we mean by that is young.
We mean by that. Okay.
Poor girls, often students with no careers yet, whom he can impress by his success and money.
Again, I don't know what that means. Like, if he's going to like places where women are particularly disadvantaged and saying like, if you stay with me, I'll give you money and this, that, I could see why that would be like a little bit predatory. But if he's dating younger girls who just don't really have a job and they kind of want to be arm candy, like I don't know how to extrapolate that. Like what is this referring to? I don't know exactly what this is referring to, like being very specific. Okay.
Exclusively chooses girls with a vast gap in money and influence so he can manipulate and mold them. Most of them were too scared to speak about it due to this reason. His preferences also include a physical superiority over his partners, looking very young, pre-adolescent, usually very skinny, and if not, he encourages them to lose weight, calling them lazy and disgusting.
So that part's like, yeah, that part's potentially, that's true, is like, would be some kind of like manipulation, possibly even emotional abuse. But if he's 35, we established he's 35 in this, right? Boy in a band. Birthdays. Let's say he's 35 and he's dating girls 10 years younger than him and they're 25. Okay. If he specifically likes this, some of these lines I don't like them. Most of them were too scared to speak due to this reason. That's totally possible that he's manipulative. His preferences also include a physical superiority over his partners. So does mine, technically. I'm 6'4". I like girls who are like short. My wife's like 5'6". You know what I mean? Like, I could classify that as I like women that I'm physically superior to. I like women who are smaller than me. I like thick women too, but you know what I'm saying? So like now, it's just like some of this way that the problem is that there's probably some really good information in here about how he might actually be an abusive person, but you're riddling it with like everything that you possibly can, and it's kind of distracting from the story. So if you're talking about how he likes girls that are like look very young, pre-adolescent, I don't know what that means. Usually very skinny. If he's dating 25-year-old girls and he likes them to be skinny, and these girls are skinny, let's say that his type is 25-year-old girls who are skinny and they have like no breasts, and you're like, ew, being attracted to that person makes you like a pedophile. So that person, that consenting adult, doesn't deserve love, is what you're telling me. That the consenting adult shouldn't be able to have sex with adults. You know what I'm saying? Like when we kind of think of it that way, you know, oftentimes like pedophilia more than anything else is about manipulation over like the mind. So that line doesn't exactly. Some of these things don't really ring particularly well.
That's from a man who made a song with Jaded Animations to help girls with anorexia. Now, speaking of that song he made with Jaded Animations, it appears that she has actually removed that song off of her YouTube channel. Now, this may be completely unrelated. It's entirely possible that maybe she just didn't like the song anymore. However, with this coming out, it is definitely kind of suspicious that that song has been removed. He coerced multiple young girls into being polyamorous. Even
all right, so how did he coerce them? What does that mean? Because coercion is like forcing somebody to do something within like an active threat, right? So if I look up sorry, I just learned how to spell fucking coercion. To practice the practice of persuading somebody to do something by using force or threats. So we need to see how he's used force or threats to coerce them. That could include, I mean, like some kind of a force or a threat. Like if you don't sleep with me, I'm going to hurt you in some capacity. Okay. That's coercion. What specifically was it?
If it was something they had never considered before.
Okay.
He advertises it as a superior way of living, which is highly inappropriate, if not abusive.
He's telling people that he's polyamorous and that he'll only date you if you're poly. That's not coercion. I need you to tell me specifically what the coercive tactics were. You can't just use the word coercion. You have to give me more information than this.
He tells his partners that they're replaceable, disappears if they don't do everything he wants, and treats them with zero empathy.
So that's really shitty manipulative behavior. That's not coercion. So if he's telling people like, oh, I will replace you if you won't be with me in a polyamorous relationship, and that like, you know, and if you don't do everything I want, I won't be with you. That's manipulative. But that's not coercive, unless he says, like, if you don't do everything that I want, I'll hurt you physically. You know, it sounds like what he's saying, again, big red flag, manipulative behavior, is like, I won't be with you if you don't do exactly what I want, and I have all the power. As long as you can step away from that dynamic, it doesn't really become like coercion. It's definitely like a big red flag. But if he's saying that you're replaceable and I will leave you if you don't do what I want, it gives you the ability to actively leave. You might say, like, yeah, but what if they like him a lot? It's one of the unfortunate realities of life. You're going to need to learn to walk away from some stuff like this. Unless he's forcing them to be there and hurting them, it wouldn't be coercion. It's still manipulative, wrong, a big red flag, and you should stay away from this person. But we need to understand that not every inappropriate thing is on the same level, right? Like for instance, like, it's inappropriate if you go out in public and make a comment on somebody's weight, right? That's inappropriate. It's also inappropriate if you go out in public and you scream the N-word at somebody, right? Both of those are inappropriate. Which one is more inappropriate? You know, understand what I'm saying? There are different levels of inappropriate. Not if he's holding something over her. For sure, if we have that. that needs to be expressly considered. And like now what we're doing is we're filling the cracks of information that they haven't been explicitly saying with potential conspiracy ideology or conspiracy ideas that could be right, but it's very speculative. I should say speculative instead of conspiracy. Right? Okay.
They mean nothing to him outside of his pleasure, his wants, and his entertainment. When girls want to leave, he either blocks them before they can confront him, or uses his depression and suicidality as cards to force them to stay until he gets bored of them.
So there we go. That's a red flag. So when girls want to leave, he either blocks them before they can confront him. I don't know what blocks them before they can confront him means. He blocks them before... Oh! Okay. That's weird. I interpreted that wrong. What I thought that they were saying was if a girl tries to physically leave, he blocks the door. But I think what it's saying is that when girls try to leave, he blocks their phone numbers before they can say anything. That's not really coercion, is it? Unless I'm misinterpreting, I think what he's saying is he'll either block their numbers before they can confront him, right? If he physically blocks the door, that obviously that would be considered like a coercion tactic. I think that would work. But if he just blocks them on their phone before they can confront him, like that's okay. I don't care about that. But if he does use his depression and say like, "I'll kill myself if you leave," like that's manipulative. Absolutely. Could you consider that a coercion? You might be able to. I guess it would be the threat of taking your own life. Yeah, I guess you could say that might be considered coercion. Okay. Personally, I've had people do that before to me, or I had one ex to say that they'll take their... Just say okay and leave, by the way, guys. Just some advice for you. Just leave. Okay.
He uses his depression to control girls by justifying why he treats them like garbage or playing the...
I wonder what he says. Does he say... Because this is the thing. When they say use his depression, if they mean that he explicitly said, I will take my own life if you leave me, yeah, I think that that's a threat. I think that you could probably consider that a threat of coercion. However, if he's saying, I'm really sad and depressed and I feel like I might want to kill myself or something, that's not necessarily coercion. That's playing like a pity party. It's... It depends. They're being very vague about what's happening here. I think that's one of the problems here with what's going on. Their interpretations on a lot of stuff are very vague, and some of them I feel are kind of inaccurate.
Victim card. He refuses to take any personal responsibility and accountability for how cruel, vindictive, callous, hurtful, and abusive he is.
Oh, wait, he used the rest of the card to control girls, justifying why he treats them like garbage for playing the victim card. Okay.
If you ever wondered why years of therapy never really helped him, it's because he cannot face who he really is, and he's unable to take ownership of the things he did, painting himself in bright light in front of his therapist. Over the last few years, he repeatedly mixed his medications, including antidepressants/ADHD medication, with whiskey and weed.
Well, I mean, if he's doing that, I wouldn't doubt that he's expressing like abusive behaviors.
He used, abused, and left so many girls that he could, at this point, write an alphabet from the first letters of their names. Please remember.
Okay. I don't think it has to be a threat, but more of a non-preferred consequence, if that makes sense, for coercion. Okay. Is that... Yeah, okay. What's an example of coercion? In order to be considered coercion, a person must fear for the life of someone they care about or fear of their own life based on the threat. An example of this would be an ex-husband threatening to kill a child. Okay. So, like, suicide could be an actual coercive tactic if they fear for the death of that person. If that fear is considered a genuine expressed, I suppose. Okay, there's just like a lot of open for interpretation in this video. That's like the problem, you know.
He advertises himself as a male feminist to the entire world, while in reality, he's an abuser of multiple young girls.
I mean, that's how all fucking male feminists are, guys. They just pretend to care. Okay.
He acts similarly with his friends, treating them badly as replaceable, lying about them to make himself look good or to get what he wants. For example, when after having no contact for more than a decade with his bandmates, out of the blue, he tweeted that they used to ignore his self-harm, which was a lie, confirmed and confronted by his bandmates on Twitter and on Reddit years ago. Darren admitted that they talked after and both apologized, but Dave never acknowledged that and left that tweet on his front page for almost 2 years now, sending his Twitter mob on his past friends who have normal lives. And Dave got thousands of sympathy tweets from young girls that strongly relate to the problem of self-harm. He does things like that to get attention and pity all the time. Again, we are sorry that you had to read it. We're not his haters, not witch hunters, and not strangers. We don't want anything. We're not interested in being associated with him anyway. All we want to do is warn his young fans about what can happen to them. Like you, we used to care about him, but he has to be stopped. Ours and yours enabling of this has to stop. He needs to face himself and meet the responsibility for the people he hurt before even more young girls get severely damaged, which they will then carry for the rest of their lives. Depression cannot be used as an excuse to treat people this way. Treating any human being this way is inexcusable. Nobody has been left by him unharmed. Below, you can find a little bit of proof of how he treated people confirmed and proven by multiple of his ex-girlfriends and friends that he had hurt and replaced over the years. We know that you care about the persona he made for himself on the internet. We know you want him to be happy, but he's not happy. He destroys people. He's an abuser, a groomer, a hebephile. We know this is hard. We never wanted to do this. But what about those girls? What about future ones? They're people. This needs to stop. He needs to be stopped, please, sincerely. What started as 5 girls is now way in the double digits. P.S. Let this be a lesson about romanticizing those who are mentally ill, especially with a young audience. We think and talk about depression when someone is sad all the time or suicidal. We never talk about the ugly parts of it, of how people like that can be manipulative, abusive, and can hurt people. And the voices of those they hurt along the way also need to be heard, and this pattern of behavior needs to stop. If we can stop just one girl from ending up hurt, I'll sleep better at night. Please do the same. Thank you. And here they provide several DMs from anonymous victims. I'm so glad to see this being talked about publicly. He's abusive and dehumanizing to many of the women he dates. He dates young women from his fan pool and pushes the sexual boundaries of others. He shouldn't be anywhere near young women, or women frankly. Every single woman reading this who fancies him or is dating him, etc. deserves better. What he has become makes me feel sick. Same. What even more disgusting is the covering of all of this with poor mental health. Like, it's an excuse for everything, making some of the girls feel like, well, he was honest about his depression, so maybe I should have known that that can happen. Maybe I just don't understand depression, but being physically and sexually abusive doesn't get magically erased because of his mental health. There is a place for people like that. Mental hospital for the criminally insane. He was massively hung up on her.
I feel like one of the biggest problems with this kind of shit, like getting leaked to the public, and I kind of understand it, but is that nobody that's reading them is like a clinical psychologist in any capacity. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, it's a lot of regular people giving their own perspective on these topics, you know, which can, you know, potentially lead to just the incorrect analyzing of the source material. But
in a very creepy way, said he liked to hurt her and was obsessed with how young she acted. She's very short. He asked me to kiss her. I later told him it felt like kissing a child and that I was very uncomfortable.
Wait, she's very short. He asked me to kiss her. I later told him it felt like kissing a child and that I was very uncomfortable. He said that's what he liked about her. Okay.
He said that's what he liked about her. I'm going to back my chats with this girl and compiling more screenshots. She was 17, recently turned 18.
So I just want to be very clear about that line. This guy is a red flag. That's what it sounds like to me. This guy's a red flag that's like playing on the border of like legality. I think that's probably the best way to like put this. However, when you say something like she was 17, recently turned 18, what am I supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? Like it communicates like a lack of. The problem when people post stuff like this, and this has been like a continuous framing from like the start of the entire like thread, is that when you post stuff like this, when you say things like they were 17, recently turned 18, you're obviously sensationalizing the information in a little bit in your favor towards the way that you want it to be perceived, when you don't need to do that, because even sifting through the things that we're seeing, it seems like there's huge red flags. You don't need to be doing that, but it ends up putting like a bit of like a shade of doubt on the conversation. But okay, let's continue.
Dave was 27. It was odd because I knew they would probably had something going on given he was poly, and she was head over heels for him. But with me, he always handled it as her being the one obsessing over him, and him just accepting it because why not? He made me cook and clean the whole time I stayed with him in person, anywhere to earn my keep. And you know why it makes sense now? Because what woman who's age appropriate for him would put up with that shit? Only
a high value woman. You know what I'm saying? The whole, not for nothing. What's so funny, as I'm listening to this whole thing, this sounds like every single manosphere guy. You know, it's shit that I find inappropriate and disrespectful to women, but I wouldn't call it illegal. It's so funny that this is like a big red flag here, which is a good thing. We should be calling this out as a red flag. I don't think we should be sensationalizing the information, but we should be calling it out as a red flag. But like, this is just like, yeah, this is perfectly acceptable behavior in the manosphere. You know what I mean? Like Fresh and Fit would be like, yup, that's my guy. That's my boy right there. You know, it's fucking nuts.
Young girls who don't know any better. Exactly. He would justify everything with some women would be happy with this. This is what my mom does, and she's clearly happy. Like, okay, your mom is clearly mentally ill.
Well, what do you mean? If a woman is happy cooking and cleaning for a guy that takes care of her financially, like, I don't care. I don't know, we're kind of going into like a weird spot.
Clear threats about being replaced.
I recently turned 18 just 7 years ago, so my girlfriend is a predator. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. What's up, Ryan? How you doing, brother?
Like, if you don't like it, I'll find someone who will. And you knew he could just bump up any other girl he was seeing and make good on it. He does the same with friends. As soon as someone isn't going to put up with his behavior, he's gone to other ones, except for his famous friends. What a complete waste of life. There's worse stuff, to be honest, but it's hard to talk about. I will just say he's the reason I know the definition of hebephile.
Okay, well, we need to see the worst things to know what we're talking about. What I'm trying to find here, because I feel like we love to use words like hebephile. I want to see what the DSM-5 classifies as the definite of what would it be to. Okay, so the proposed criteria for the DSM-5s involved an adult who, for 6 or more months, experienced sexual attraction to prepubescent or prepubescent children that was equal to or greater than their attraction to adults, and who also either found the attraction distressing, used child's pornography, or saw it in the child at the subject. Proposed criteria would have been applied to subject age 18 or older and who are at least 5 years older. Okay. Okay, so the subject has to be 18 or older and at least 5 years older than the person. Okay, so 23 and 17. Figure this out. What's the age range for a hebephile? So pedophilia is, I think, younger than 11. Hebephilia is 11 to 14. So he's not even a hebephile based on DSM-5. Yeah, the heebie-jeebies for sure. Do we know what the fuck we're talking about anymore? Like, what's... I feel like we should stop using words we don't understand. I just feel like maybe we should... Trying to figure. I mean, that's what I'm reading here. I might have to like look at the DSM-5. I think a lot of us think just so much information. I'm gonna have to look through it. I don't think that this would be considered like a definition of a hebephile. I could be wrong about that though. Okay.
And it looks like right here they're saying that he would make them pay their rents for sexual...
It's never explicitly laid out, but that's...
favors. It's never explicitly laid out like that, but it's what happens.
Well, I mean, okay, so listen, I'm not trying to be that guy, but if you're in a relationship with like a person and they're doing all the cooking and cleaning and having sex with you, like that would be considered a general... that's not... I mean, I think it's gross, but, you know, one person would look at it as like he made me have sex with them for like money. But the other person might look at it as like, oh, it was part of our relationship contract that he paid for everything, and then I would have to sleep with him, obviously. You know, obviously that can lead to some kind of an abusive situation. Doesn't necessarily mean it always does, but yeah, I mean, it depends. The problem is the way that they're laying out some of this information makes it hard for me to like take it on face value.
And there is over...
how far did we get?
Favors. It's never explicitly laid out like that, but it's what happens.
Yeah, there's a few more here.
And there is over
read the rest of them.
60 of these claims.
Whoa, well, that's a lot of claims to make. Clearly, there's some kind of a problem. It was one of those, he tried to convince that being poly would be great for me, that monogamy is dumb, that I will never be in a normal relationship because of my job, so being poly would benefit. Okay, I don't care about that one. That doesn't really mean anything. He wanted me to be in a poly relationship with him. Okay. I was just scared everyone else would hurt me like he did, shaking my head, but he was calling me replaceable. Yeah, that's shitty, but not necessarily predatory, I don't think. That's not only for his girlfriends. He's jealous of anything good that happens to someone in life. He was jealous of me loving my job and being passionate about it, saying stuff like, you'll end up burned out like I did, or whenever I got something great happened, and I would tell him we played games, he would congratulate me and then ignore me for weeks. Okay, sounds like a pretty shitty fuckboy. Yeah, it's a little different problem. Okay. There's a lot here. There's a lot. Mostly making hypersexual comments about literally everything and everyone. Saying he wanted to fuck all his female friends. Yeah, that's weird. A lot of this isn't really predatory. A lot of this is just real, like, shitty red flag fuckboy behavior. I think we should learn to distinguish the two. It doesn't make it okay, but, like, we need to maintain proper energies for situations like this.
And if you want to go check it out, I will link this in the description down below. All I'm gonna say is that if any of this is true, this guy needs to be stopped. And it's horrifying to think he got away with this for so long and could continue to get away with this. Anyway,
I'm more interested in like the physical abuse stuff that we never really got into too much.
These are just my thoughts on this entire situation. If you guys have enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah,
in this video,
doing this video made me realize how very little I want to engage in this type of commentary for right now. It's like real burnout, and I feel like it's incredibly unproductive for a bunch of people, especially to weigh in on situations like this, like how this has become the new drama norm, is to have conversations about like potential like pedophilia and sexual assault in a way that's like obviously cannot be clinical in any capacity. I'm not like a clinician. I obviously don't have a degree or anything, but I do my best to try to educate myself. This comes off to me as like it's a big red flag, a person with potential predatory behaviors. A lot of these behaviors are inappropriate red flags that I would definitely say stay away from somebody like this, but I don't know if I would call this person predatory based on everything that we saw, potentially. But a lot of the information, a lot of the wording was very like kind of roundabout. It was a little bit morally loaded, you know, things like saying I was 17 recently, I was 17 recently turned 18. That like things like that try to like overplay when it probably didn't need to overplay to communicate that this is a bad person. I think that the best thing to talk about is that these are girls who are younger, where it should be illegal for him to interact with them, by the way. And we need to catch society up to that feel a particular way about a topic. And like a lot of people do, they use words that communicate how they feel rather than words that communicate what actually happened, right? So we do this a lot, especially on the internet. People will be very exaggeratory in the words that they use. You know, for instance, if like let's say somebody smacked you on the arm and it hurt you, and then you were like, "Oh my God, this guy assaulted me." You know what I mean? Like you're using very inflammatory language because you felt like they were like assaulted. You felt violated in some capacity, but it doesn't necessarily match the energy of what happened to you. It doesn't make it okay, but like this is a big thing that we do on the internet a lot. And it makes it very difficult to kind of get to the bottom of what the fuck is going on in any like a real serious capacity. But it really is. I think it's crazy how everything that we've been talking about, it seems like a lot of people are taking sexual assault and putting it into a drama lens and like dumping it in as content. This kind of feels like what this is. I'm not criticizing Jaden. They're just reading the Reddit, but it just feels like this is where the internet's going. You know, it seems like this is where it's kind of going. You know. Oh. Okay. What happened?
High Loon Raccoon became a member.
Disconnected. Thank you so much for the membership. But we got to get out of this super loaded stuff here.
Amanda Loves Kyoto became a member.
Hey, thank you so much for the membership. Full circle, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Mama Dwarf. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I'm tired of it and it's poisoning my mind. I respect the fuck out of that. That's exactly how I feel about a lot of the content that we've been talking about lately. It's crazy. It is crazy. It's a burnout, man. How do you become a member? I have no fucking idea. It really is a lot. And you know what, too? I feel like it's a lot for me and it's a lot for you guys, because I like to think, and I hope I'm not overstating it, that when I review a situation of some potential like predatory behavior, I care about what I'm looking at and I want to get down to the bottom of it in the most genuine way, the most genuine and non-performative way possible. But I feel like a lot of content creators, and I'm not saying that this is about Jaden or anybody else that's necessarily doing it. I'm not saying this is about anybody specifically. But I feel like a lot of content creators don't really care about what they're listening to. And they're just trying to they're just making a video about a topic that's popular. And they're not interested in like the message that could be being sent by the video. You know what I mean?
Became a member.
Hey, thank you so much. And so like when I look at something like that that burns me out, because I'm like really trying to get to the bottom of it. Like what's actually happening? Like what's going on? Like how does this get interpreted? How would a woman interpret this? How would a man interpret this? How would a young person interpret this? How would an old person interpret this? How would this interpret this? How would that? And I feel like a lot of you guys, I feel like you guys do the same thing. I think you guys do the exact same thing. Like people who respond to my content, you guys are doing the same thing. You're like, yes, that's exactly how I feel about it. That's exactly how I'm like interpreting it. And it's a burnout because you're using a lot of energy on this topic and where a lot of other people aren't. You know? I think that's like a big part of it. I totally understand that. I totally understand that. All right. I'm going to go pee-pee. Then we're going to watch Turkey Thomas about some thing. That's and we'll do that. But yeah, man, that type of content, that type of energy of content, such a burn. Turkey Thomas. And I wonder, can I sing on Twitch? Am I allowed? Is there a thing I can sing on Twitches? I don't know. We're doing this Lieutenant Corbius video from Turkey Tom. Okay, let me go pee-pee real quick. I'll be right back. I wish I could. I'll be right back. Let me listen to that. The membership thing.
John Pono 9 became a member.
Thank you so much, brother. I'll be right back. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? All right, let's do this. Let me play these alerts while I load up this video game called World of Warcraft. If you guys have ever heard of it, it is a MMORPG, and I need to level up. Have I considered looking into Gora World? Gora is about it. Booty and X. Repzilla and Repzilla. Which one? Rep. This? I like Repzilla and Repzilla. They're both cool guys. But Repzilla is a patron of, we're mutual patronages of each other. So I'm gonna put him on the list. I gotta put him on the list potentially. Well, I mean, I guess that's the question here, huh? Okay. Let's do that question actually really quick. I'm gonna do a poll in the chat because this next video. I'm gonna let you guys choose which video. It's either gonna be this Foodie Beauty one, or Lieutenant Corbus. Okay, I'll do. It's either going to be this Repzilla video about Foodie Beauty, or it's going to be this video about Lieutenant Corbus from Turkey Thomas. Why remove this option? How long does the poll go? You guys make the choice. They're both around the same amount of time. And then after whenever we'll give the poll a little bit. And then we'll just do whichever one you guys want to watch. I'll give it a bit. I'll give you guys a minute. A momento. Por favor. Foodie Beauty sounds like a messy bottom. You know what? I think that's a fair thing to say. I agree. Yeah, I know. It ends when I close it. I'm going to give it a minute. All right? Relax. Okay? Don't pressure me. Don't pressure me, bro. I mean, the Foodie Beauty one won. I guess that's. I mean, okay. I guess we'll end the poll now. Okay. It's Foodie Booty. Which one's longer? We picked the shorter one. It's 4 minutes shorter or something. All right. The guy. You guys have spoken. My friends have spoken. All right. That's what we're going to get now. You're going to get Foodie Bungus. I'm waiting for these alerts to go through because somebody sent me an alert. There we go.
SAUCEJONES became a member.
I liked how it read your entire name out instead of just saying your name. Stuff. Let's see. All right, the audio sounds like pretty good. All right, guys, so this is a Repzilla video. I got the memberships
Lily
paused.
Became a member.
I don't have the memberships paused. I'm going to pause them now. Thank you so much for the membership. This is a video from Repzilla about Foodie Beauty. I feel like that's like a tongue twister. Nader bro, these words. Elshamy is a big problem. Really good start to the video. If this is your first video I've ever seen of Papa Got, I'm sure you're going to stick around after I could barely pronounce that name. Let's get this going, fellas. My favorite intro.
Hey, welcome back into today's video. We're going to be talking about a YouTuber named Foodie Beauty, aka Chantel Marie, and a very, very bad person named Nadar Elshamy. Now, Chantel helped to platform Nadar, who went on to be
Hey, there's always a red flag when you got some super skinny dude dating some big girl. You know what I'm saying, dude? It's true. You know, it's normal the other way though. It's okay for a big guy to date a skinny girl, just like the King of Queens. I'm just kidding, but okay.
Alleged of essay of one of her own viewers.
All right.
This guy is currently under investigation in Montreal, Canada.
Oh, it's like an actual open investigation? Okay. Well, that's good.
And there's video evidence of him putting his hands on women. This is a terrible person, and we need to talk about him in today's episode of Exploring YouTubers.
Nice.
If you're unfamiliar...
Oh, is this like a new thing? Exploring YouTubers? Like a bit? Like a segment? I like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Chantel is a YouTuber named Foodie Beauty who has a channel with over 90,000 subscribers where she does long-winded live streams, uploads multiple of them a day, very
long-winded live streams. What a shot.
Long ones. And they usually involve some kind of food while she overshares about her life drama.
I wish that there was less food and less foodie and more beauty. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not because she's overweight. I'm just kidding. We're being a little too rude today. Okay.
The main focus of today's video is going to be Nadar, but we do need to talk about some context to do with Chantel and her role in this situation. Nadar is a previous boyfriend of Chantel. One of the first things you need to know is there's a massive community that surrounds Chantel called Girl World, and they are very invested. There's an unofficial website as well as a Twitter. Now, this whole community is dedicated to Foodie Beauty and another YouTube channel called Amberlyn Reed, where Chantel is the reigning queen. And Chantel's niche community within Girl World is called the Foodieverse.
Okay.
This is an example of when the creator is not the entertainer, but the entertainment. Chantel's relationships have been a fascinating topic for Girl World just because of the sheer toxicness of it all. Things like cheating on one of her first long-term boyfriends who goes by Pete's online with the man that she would leave him for called BB.
I would have cheated on that guy too. That's sad. I mean, that sucks, but okay.
And even though she cheated, Pete's remained friends with Chantel, which caused for some awkward situations. Like,
why would you? Listen, I don't mean to be that guy. Cheating's always wrong. But I mean, bro, if you get cheated on and you're friends with the person who cheated on you, man, you gotta do do a little bit of reevaluation. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be rude, but come on, man, you gotta stick up for yourself a little better. You gotta stand up for yourself just a little bit better than that.
Like,
I was gonna ask you if you know how bad it hurts to find out for sure that you've been cheated on, and you could say that yes, you do, because I cheated on you. Did it hurt you?
Mm-hmm.
Hurt you really bad?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
She's a bitch.
I don't know. I
It
don't
hurt you really bad. I'm sorry. Sorry. It's just one of those things. I'm a little quirky. Period. Period. Sorry, I cheated on you. That's what this kind of comes off as.
I don't think she is. To me, this looks like a vicious cycle for Chantel, where she's either the cause of her own pain or she's causing pain.
What's up, Repzilla? How you doing, brother?
People in her life, just with different faces. Same vicious cycle, different people. This is an example of emotional masochism. Damn, I'm gonna have to.
It is masochism. Don't worry, I struggled saying Elshamy in the beginning of this video, so I don't need to feel bad about that.
Like, figure out how to pronounce that.
Masochism.
Dude, that's exactly what I do in every one of my videos when I can't pronounce a word. I don't even move on from it. I draw attention to it. I just need to know how to say the word, you know, to save myself from future fucking embarrassment.
This is an example of emotional masochism, which is participating in events, situations, and relationships that repeatedly damage your self-esteem. It's negative self-talk, it's needing approval from others, but never getting it. Which I feel like is Chantel in a nutshell, but
that just feels like having like mommy issues. That's what we used to call them when I was younger, having mommy issues or something.
You let me know in the comment section below. Fast forward a few cycles later and enter Ned Elshamy, who, well, the red flags were there from the very start. And I'm going to explain to you how he came.
That big fucking nose is a red flag. Sorry.
Into the picture.
So in the meantime, I'm talking to this other guy, and he's not really my type. But the more I talk to him and the more I see of him, if you catch my drift, the more hot he becomes to me. Egyptian guy that I'm talking to now. He's from Egypt, he's from Egypt, Alexandria, Egypt.
Yeah, this Egyptian guy that I'm talking to right now. He's from I don't think it's Egypt. What do you mean? What are you doing? What are you doing, girl? How do I get to the top of this fucking thing?
And he's a chef. So he's always pushing me to come over and eat.
Sounds like a feeder.
That's not the tea. The tea is hot. We need to let the tea cool off. Okay. So the Egyptian guy is very Is it like, I don't know if it's like all Egyptian men, but he's very pushy, like bossy. Like tells me what to do all the time. Like not tells me what to do, but like he tells me what I should like.
This video could have been over an hour, Repzilla. You should have made more of it. You should have wanted to fucking go crazy on it.
He's very he's looking for a relationship. He's like, you're gonna come here and you're not gonna want to leave for like a week. And I was just like,
I don't know, man. Like in my experience, and this could just be anecdotal, but like a lot of like guys that come from like other countries, that like are migrated from other countries, they're usually a little bit more I don't want to say in like a bad way, but like a little more assertive, a little more, I don't want to say aggressive or controlling, because I don't think that's the appropriate way to say it. But they tend to be a little bit more like traditional in their relationships, where like the man is a little bit more in control and the woman's not in control. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, that's just been like an experience. So it's probably it's possible. Sure.
We could move in with him. He's like, I have a big apartment. I'm just like, he's like, you're exactly what I'm looking for. Everything about you. And I'm just like, you don't even know me. Like, if you think I'm the kind of woman that you can boss around, I'm gonna piss you off a lot. Those are weird signs. I know it's already so toxic. But like a part of me can't help it because he's so into me. Like it's flat. I like the bossiness a little bit. I don't know. It's like, okay. You know what I mean? I don't know. As long as it's not, it's just when I say stuff like that, it's like, wow, he's so angry and weird right from the get-go. Why would I hang out with him?
So this dude was not hiding who he was from the start. Like the red flags were there, but she wasn't seeing it. And to drive the point
so far, like just based on this, I don't know if I'd call this a red flag or that I've just called this like just kind of like a cultural difference almost. Just saw it right off the jump. I think the biggest red flag is that I can't figure out how to get to the top of this fucking thing. It's making me really angry.
Even further about the cycles, well, when he would do things to harm her, like get her on substances that are not the most legal,
what, weight loss medication or something?
Completely miss it.
So it was like 2 nights, like not every single night that I was with him we did hard stuff. It was like the one night and then like another night.
What were they doing?
Bad night where we just did like everything.
What?
It's not funny, but it just made me like really sick. Like I was sick like for like 2 days, like in bed, like to message from you know who, and he's like, I finished work at 4 today. Can you come over? And I was like, I'm really sick. So no, well, come over, I'll take care of you. I'm like, aw, that's so sweet.
So because her personality is so invested in this type of behavior, she's completely missing the fact that he's putting her in harm's way.
So it sounds like, you know, and that's perfectly possible. What it sounds like to me is potentially that they were experimenting with like party drugs, which is something that's like, I wouldn't say common, but like I wouldn't say something that's necessarily like intentionally abusive, even if it's like poor behavior. Okay.
And on top of that, she can be seen to also want to come back and harm him as well.
See what we got
Thus
here.
the cycle.
Was she gonna sit on him? Just kidding.
Right?
Be kind of hot though.
All right, if I don't hear from him in like an hour, I'm gonna take edibles. Because if he says to bring his stuff, because he needs his clothes. I deleted all. I'm stupid.
What the fuck?
I deleted my apps. I just assumed he would just fall in love with me and just be like, oh yeah, no other girl matters, you know?
Thinking a little too much of yourself, girl.
But just manipulate your feelings? Like, why? Why lie about who you are? Like, why lie that you're an honest person? And that you're a good person? I believed him. You know what? And you know what? I secretly knew, and I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. I just want to go and party.
So again, it's not sweet that he...
It sounds like this guy's kind of a fuckboy and like let her on a little bit. That's the energy that's giving me. And I want to take edibles if he doesn't answer me. I'm gonna go do something else. I have more important things to do. Bitch, you don't got nothing more important to do. That's what the fuck. We all know that. All right. We already know that.
He wants to take care of you when he's the reason that you're unwell. He's a pain source for your cycle, and that's probably because he's a narcissistic sociopath. I'm going to give you some examples, like him admitting that he deals hard
He showed payment sent to you 500.
Oh, he's a drug dealer. All right.
He showed payment 500? You want me to say for what? For the sniff.
Oh, for cocaine. All right.
Not only does he hold his cigarette.
Is it me? Only because, like, I mean, that's you should be a drug. I don't know. Maybe it's where I mean, I didn't grow up in like the super hard area, but like, I don't know. Maybe, I think there's something wrong with me because I'm like a drug dealer. All right, it's not ideal, but I don't really care. Like, that's not as much of a red flag as it probably should be to to be some fucking drug dealer. It's like, all right, whatever.
Cigarette like that, but he also brags about stabbing people.
Yeah, I stabbed someone because I have balls.
Yeah, see, that's not. Is it me? Am I the problem here? Because he's like, I stabbed somebody. It's like, yeah, I get that. I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole, but like, I mean, I've never stabbed somebody, but I fought before. You know what I mean? Like, man, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the fucking problem. Is Willie Mac in the chat too? What's up, brother?
I paid for it. I went to jail.
Oh, at least he went to jail. All right.
Actually, 2, not 1. That's true. You want to see the truth? Actually, I said it before.
There's also countless videos of him disrespecting women online.
Sounds like he might have been. I mean, if he's a drug dealer that stabbed someone before, he might have been like in a gang or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, all about that thug life, brother. All about that thug life. Escape the streets, brother. Gotta escape the streets.
But I want to show you some of the ways that he talked to Chantel.
I'm not gaining weight.
So,
but I feel it right
but
now.
you change the type of food you eat. You keep stuffing yourself with oil.
Well, yeah, we're having fried potato chips later.
Now we eat healthy.
Oh, yeah.
If you just move your a bit, you're gonna lose weight.
I don't want to stop going live. I like hanging out with you guys. No,
like, dude, I don't know. In my experience, like these more traditional guys, like, yeah, that's shitty the way he's talking to her. It's a little shitty. I mean, fundamentally, motivating her to lose weight is not a bad idea. Saying to eat healthy, but you know, I don't know. Maybe he's just a blunt speaker. Maybe he is abusive, but he also just might be like, yeah, you got to move your ass a little bit. Like, you know, they're dating and then trying to motivate yourself to lose weight. It's kind of hard to talk to somebody who's like really obese about losing weight. Like, I am really obese. It's difficult to talk to people like that about how like they should lose weight in like a healthy manner. It can be a little difficult. I wouldn't instantly say it qualifies as him being like an abusive guy. So far, he's just a drug dealer that used to be in a gang that's telling her that she should just move her fat ass. You know what I mean? He doesn't sound like a red flag at all to me. So, just
you didn't say that.
What?
I think you said move your ass to lose weight. Did you say that? I didn't hear that. I think you fat shame me and you're mean.
You asked to lose weight. I said you're changing the food.
Oh, wait, did she ask to lose weight?
Me and you're mean.
You asked to lose weight. I said you're changing the food.
Oh, well, especially if she asked to lose weight, then maybe he's just a blunt speaker, and that's why he said it like that.
Yeah.
Be more healthy for your body, but doesn't make you lose weight. You lose weight when you move your.
Yeah. No, but you're like at my size, you're attracted to me as I am now, right? That's what they think you're not attracted to me.
Damn, that's harsh. Why is he dating her then? wait, why is he dating her then if he's not attracted to her? What's happening here?
He won't.
Why you have this thing?
Normally.
This for what?
Can you massage it, please?
I see it only in the camel.
It's called a fat hump.
Hump?
Itch my back down more a little.
No, that's danger here.
Down a little bit
What?
more.
What?
Until here, and that's it. My limit.
Oh, thank you.
What?
Let the farts begin. No.
Hey, please.
No, the chicken.
Since you feel anything not normal, Uber right away.
Oh, he's making a joke about how she'll have to call an Uber if she starts to feel like shit in some capacity because he's not taking her to the hospital with all those farts. I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
This has to be like that. Especially when I have this guy here.
This guy. This is
Yeah,
his.
it's just.
Chantal the chauffeur. Excuse me.
What is he doing? Oh, he's cleaning his glasses on her.
Is that yours?
I don't know. I do that with my wife sometimes. Like sometimes if she's wearing a material of shirt that would be good for cleaning my glasses, I'll do that.
Sandra, $8. Kiss Chantal, please.
I need $80.
Uh-oh. Sandra, 15. Kiss her now.
Sandra.
Now you have to do it. Natter?
Is he actually not attracted to her, or is this just like them? He's just teasing her? I mean, I think that's a very important question. I wonder which one
Teach
of
her
those.
how to play soccer.
What is that?
Yeah, we need somebody to play with this sucker.
It's still mean, but.
Are you saying I'm a soccer ball?
What do you think?
An asshole. Jesus Christ.
No, smaller than that.
Wait, he wiped off her kiss?
What do you think?
That's so sad.
No, smaller than that. Stop being violent. 1-1-1.
Yeah, Jillian, I hate cardio.
True.
Like she ever do.
Hmm?
What hair cardio? I never see you did.
I walked around, remember?
Oh my goodness.
So you can already see that the dude is aggressive, overly aggressive, but she actually admits that he put hands on her.
And after all this,
so far, we're gonna get to the hands on this. So far, it doesn't seem like he was like super aggressive. It seems like he maybe is just with her for the money, or this is just like their banter. He's probably a little fat phobic, you know. Okay.
after all he's made me feel, he sends me a picture on Messenger of it's an obese dog with my face on it.
Oh my god!
You screamed in my face and grabbed my face. He like really scared me. He was screaming at my face, running around the room. Cigarette came really close to me again when he was screaming at me.
I can see why that's really scary.
And he grabbed my face, and now that's bullshit.
So obviously, and yes, there was a lot of red flags from the start. And to this, I want to say that if somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. It'll save you a lot of pain. And if you're the type of person who feels like they want that pain, then there's therapy. Now, one of the things I want to get through in this video is that Chantel is directly responsible for platforming Nadar, meaning that she knew how he was, what he was capable of, and gave him access to her viewer base. I mean, she even made his account. As was revealed in a video that Repzilla posted about this situation. I'm going to put that in the description below if you guys want to check that out.
You need to keep that same energy all the way off with it and accuse YouTube of giving him a platform, because you see, Repzilla, as smart as you are, you fail to realize that creating a YouTube channel is as easy for anybody in any language as a click of a button. And then any idiot.
Well, I'm assuming that he was just mentioning that like you gave him like a platform in the sense of viewership. I don't think that was super difficult to extrapolate there from what was being said.
Knows what generalized form comes after that. Every single thing, I literally made the account.
So you just admitted that you were the idiot who created his YouTube channel. He gave you the idea, you took all the other proper steps to do it.
Not only did she make his account, but she edited his videos.
Go there for a few hours out of the day to film him his video, eat. No, I'm not editing for him anymore. I'm not doing anything for him anymore at all. I did enough. Makes his own money now. Like, you don't need me anymore, so.
She quite literally did everything for him. She made his account, showed him how to do YouTube, had him on her channel. He was in his channel. She was doing everything for him. She even paid for his internet and a phone.
Like, I watch you.
I personally wouldn't shit on her too much for platforming this guy, only because, like, you know, when you're in love, or you think you're in love, like, you know, you don't interpret everything. Sometimes you have blinders on. So her platforming him in some capacity was probably because she didn't see the things that he was doing as a negative. As they were, you know, or may have been. I wouldn't give her too much shit, you know what I mean? Because to me that kind of sucks. Like, oh, I was in a really bad relationship with this guy, treating me like shit, and then on top of that, it's like, oh, it's your fault that he's even successful. You know what I mean? I feel bad for her in the first place, man. You know what I mean?
I watch your live stream, I watch your videos, and everything right down to the spices you're using are mine.
And the things that he's done as a creator since she's brought him on, it's made YouTube a very unsafe place in that niche community. It's
what's some of the content
pure
he's doing?
Havoc. And there's even someone alleged that Nadar SA'd them, and this was a viewer of Chantel's. On October 24th, 2021, a user named May Anderson uploaded a video saying this.
Through Chantel's Foodie Booties channel, I found Chef Ned Elshamy's channel, and
okay.
Enjoyed watching him make food and his presence and all that, so I decided to send a friend request.
May says that she sent a request to Nadar, which progressed to them meeting in Canada where the essay took place. She says this.
And he invited me to hang out with him, to see the sights, and to try some of his food. So once I found a place to stay in Gatineau, I told him where I was room I was in with the deal to be just that. Go around, sightsee, whatever. When he came to my room, he didn't even say hi or anything. He just grabbed me and pushed me backwards and told me that we have to get these clothes off. And the next thing I knew, I was in the bed, being so for the one kind of way. And I told him, please stop, I don't want this. He said that I was his B word, W word, and that he was going to pound my kitty into the ground. And that no matter what I said, he wasn't going to stop till he was done. So, eventually, it was over. He put his clothes on and took a shot of alcohol out of a pill bottle looking thing. And, didn't say a word to me. He just left.
This is a heartbreaking story. Keep in mind this.
Jesus, that's fucking terrible. Wow. God damn. The only thing I'm gonna say though is that I wouldn't blame Foodie Beauty for like this happening. That's the one thing that I would say. I wouldn't blame her for this happening. That's one of the biggest, because I know that that's part of like some of the factors here is like Foodie Beauty. You gave this guy a platform, etc., etc. I don't think that she gave him a platform knowing that he was a fucking rapist. I mean, that's what that was. That was a very credible story. I mean, you know what I mean? Jesus Christ. But I wouldn't blame her for it. I think that like putting the blame on her in any capacity is taking away from what he did, because he did this thing. What he did was horrible. You know what I mean? And I don't think that it's reasonable to assume that she was like, yeah, I knew he did these things. It was fine with me. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I would say. It's totally on him, you know?
This is a man who admits openly criminal behavior.
ممنوع زي الجرفوع صوته يطلع ويكون مسموع هنا طلقه بتنهي الموضوع بالموت ده قضاء وقدر انا فيروس في الشارع حضر يعني مفيش لاكساسك اثر محدش شايفك يلا.
That's fucking crazy.
يلا ما حدش شايفك الوهم اللي انت عايش فيه فكك منه ما تعديش مجالك عندك خط ما تعديهوش هنيك عرضك انا اعرف هنيك عرضك امك هنيكها يعني هتتكلم امك هنيكها بلاش انا عشان هقل قلب عليك وهجيبك او انت عارف ان هجيبك بلاش ما تخلينيش احطك في دماغي ما تخلينيش احطك في دماغي قبل ما هكسر عينك هكسرك يعني هكسر عينك وهكسرك قبل ما اكسر عينك قبل ما هكسر عينك هكسرك والله هكسرك بس هتقل ادبك امك البعيده هنيكها وهنيكك انت كمان ما بهزرش يا ابني ما بهزرش انا حبيبي ما انتش قد يلا بلاش ابعت لك زياره عشان اقول لك اشوفك تعالى قابلني تحكي كتير هبعت لك زوار الزوار بتاعي وحشين يلا هنا طلقه هتنهي الموضوع.
Oh yeah, it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like this guy's a fucking, it sounds like this guy used to be in like a fucking gang or something.
يا حبيبي بلاش انا عشان امك وعيلتك هناك وانت اولهم هاخدكوا بالدور بلاش كده عشان قليل الادب اسمع دي قبل ما هكسر عينكم هكسركم تتقطع تتعب قنصاص.
Nadar and Chantel's relationship finally came to an end, and he started dating a girl named DD, where there was a live stream where he was seen to put his hands on her as well. But this was much more intense.
He can't shoot, so he's done with me, and he wants to tell her husband, and he wants to tell my.
Tomorrow you will see.
That's amazing.
Tomorrow you will see.
Wow, that's a great person.
Her phone name gonna be inside tomorrow.
Oh, coward.
I'm not coward. I'm not coward.
What the f doing?
I'm not coward.
Hey, he just threw his cigarette at me,
I'm
and
not
he just
coward.
threw his thing at me.
I'm not coward.
He's throwing his cigarette at me.
And don't fucking tell me coward again.
Wow.
Okay? Wow. I'm not coward. And don't tell me coward again. Nobody scared me. Because I scared from people eat people. Me, I eat people. You don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know me.
Stay where you are. Do not come back here.
You don't know.
Stay where you are. You just slapped me across the face so hard.
It's not your business.
You just slapped me
And
across
shut up, too.
Stay where
Jesus
you are.
Christ.
That's what you shoot.
I'll show you how she's. Don't talk to me that way. Don't talk to me that way. You mother.
Okay.
Don't talk to me that way.
Okay.
Don't talk to me that way.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ.
How many times you say coward? Huh? How many times? Huh? How many times? Shut up now. عن دين اللي خلق دين أمك. What? Something else? Huh? Something else? And tomorrow she's doxxed. And I with her. I with your friend. Huh? You hear me? You hear me?
Jesus fucking Christ. What a fucking scum loser, weak piece of shit, man. This is fucked. It's fucked up too because like I wonder if they even felt comfortable calling the police on this guy who's like threatening. Now it sounds like he's threatening their family as well.
You want me up? Go call the police. You're dead. Dead.
Yep.
Remember that thing? God take her from me because I was going to do his job. I get out of the jail. If she's alive, she's dead. And if I go to jail one day for Chantal, she's dead. Don't tell me you don't know who evil I am. You don't know who evil I am. Coward. Not with those. Not with those. You see this? I need it. This road, I will just take it out with my teeth. Not with my hands. Remember I told you? You're not gonna wish to see me fight.
Jesus.
Because you're not gonna like me at all.
This was such a traumatic experience for Dee Dee that she actually calls out for her deceased father. It's terrible.
Anyway, I shouldn't eat people. But I'm eat people. I am. What? What? What you say?
Daddy, please help me.
Who?
Daddy, my father. I want to help me.
She worked hard to see this one. Coward. Sit down. Sit down. People here scared from jail. This is not jail. You don't see real jail. This jail, when I don't talk the language, I was boss in your jail. In here. This jail vacation. You don't see real jail. Here jail, they have TV, they have their own cell. Right? You don't see other jail how it looks like. Ah, they're playing tough. No, sorry, white people, I'm not tough. Sorry. Your criminal here is not tough.
Clearly, this is a very unhinged person, very vile person. This is not a man. Like this is like insert your own words in comment section below. Can I do that? This situation also shows exactly.
Okay, sorry. I just laugh at that. He's like, "Can I do that?" We just had a really fucking horrible segment. Am I allowed to say comment section below? I get it. I'm not criticizing him. It's just like it was actually. I guess a little bit of levity that we kind of needed there.
Okay. More about the character of Chantel herself, because when she heard about these things happening, she not only was okay with it, but was blaming Dee Dee for these things, even though Chantel went through similar situation and knows that it's just it's gross, man.
Punched in the face by her ex. You like, oh, who cares, Mizu? Send another $1.79 British pound that you need.
You need to stop shaming people. You need to stop telling people how to process traumatic events in their life, okay?
I've done some stupid and said some stupid shit in my life, all right? But none of that has any relation to me having been in a relationship. I see him being violent to her. I don't care. I don't.
Why?
He can do whatever the fuck he wants to her, and she'll eat it up because her ex gave her several black eyes and she doesn't give a fuck. She's like, yes, another please. Here, hit me. Yeah, because you're a low life piece. You love it. You love.
There's more plaster patches on her condo wall.
All right, guys, I lied. You can blame her for everything. You can blame her. Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck? Why? Jesus fucking Christ.
There's more? Oh no. You know who's gonna be the punching bag later? Seriously, I'm not kidding. Like, nobody gives a
The reason we saw him wail on you and cry for your dad and you still are with this looking like a bowl of chips is the fact that you don't love yourself.
I do not feel 1% bad for anything that happens to Dee Dee. I don't give a I don't care.
Why is she acting like this? Like, does anybody have any context as to why she's acting like this? It doesn't make it right, but I don't understand the unhinged behavior here. I really just don't get it. Why? What the fuck is happening here? Like, this is what a real piece of shit garbage person. Listen, being in an abusive relationship, which now that we're seeing all this, it's possible that Foodie Beauty was in an abusive relationship with this guy. Now that we're kind of getting towards the end of it, she should know. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe he wasn't abusive to her. I don't know how, but it's not as easy just leaving the person. There's like fear of threat. There's like fear of getting hurt in some capacity. It's not as easy to just be like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna be with this person, or you know what I mean? Peace out, guys, bye. You know, it's not like it's easy. It's just saying peace out, bye. You know, Jesus.
Nope. Even if more videos come out, I don't care. I have a dead heart for any of those people. Even if I see him being violent to her, I don't care. I don't. Yeah, I'm an empath.
Now, of course, Gore World was documenting all of this stuff, and some of the reaction channels a part of the community were posting on YouTube. Some of their videos, which I used in this video. People were posting these videos trying to show exactly how terrible of a person that Nadar was on their channels. Nadar was false striking these videos and putting their channels in jeopardy. I mean, there's a mass, like over 100 false strikes. Here's a few on screen.
Well, here's my thing. Because like that obviously is really shitty behavior that he's doing. I would like for somebody to explain to me why YouTube hasn't done anything about this, though. Like, that's the big question. I like YouTube as a platform. I think it's great, to be like honest with you. But the fact that it seems to be so easy to put in false copyright strikes to me is fucking unhinged. It's fucking unhinged.
So much so that Insider did an article looking into this, and the writer Tanya Chin tweeted, "Municipal police for Montreal and its neighboring districts told me that they've launched an investigation into matters on YouTube involving Nadar Elshamy. The police department will not comment further to not impede on an active investigation."
That makes
sense. So Nadar's out here weaponizing YouTube's own system against itself, saying...
Well, here's what I'll say. Like, the fact that they're investigating it is, like, always the outcome. The existence of the video on the internet doesn't matter at all. You know what I mean? Other than to draw attention to, you know, the police, apprehending this guy and, like, I don't know, killing him or something. I don't know. It sounds like an appropriate response. I'm happy that matters more than I think anything else. Definitely matters more than anything else, you know.
That if anyone made any videos on him, that he was going to not only strike those videos, but then go to videos that didn't even include him and take those down as well, effectively terminating everyone's channel that tried to talk about this.
I will to use my right again. So if you have one video using my content in your channel before I take it down, I'm going for the rest.
Okay.
Well done, you.
Is that girl that's with him right now, the girl that he was fucking abusing in the video? Is that the girl?
YouTube saying that I have right, if you use my content with no edit to it, like what Tanya told you, instead of YouTube. Because you know already before you ask. What to give me right to do one, will give me right to do 100 of my content you use. Because I see a lot of videos.
I truly wonder. I know this is like I truly wonder why she stays with him. Like if it is a fear thing, that's totally understandable. Or I wonder if it is like a poor relationship with like abuse in some capacity. Like it's horrible. What some people actually think, and it's can be based off of like previous experiences, potentially like from their family, that like this type of behavior, like getting treated like this, is love. Some people actually think that way. I think that's the most fucked up part about it too.
Was hiding, the coward, they come back. Private them, the wave's gone, they will back. Guess what? All what they put them back, I'm start to do them again.
The interesting thing about this is because in the past he actually gave channels permission to use his content, and it was only when they started showing the things that he did to the world that he started false striking.
Since I don't touch your content, don't touch mine. You need to react. Million of you. Doesn't matter me at all.
That being said, I have seen, and I even had my own videos be taken down before for false and slanderous reasons. So if that happens, then you guys have full permission to download this video and re-upload it if that were to happen. To be clear, false strikes would likely result in his own channel termination. But I have seen it in the past where smaller channels with less pull get screwed over and things just fall through the cracks like that. Now, hopefully by raising awareness about the situation, there's going to be more eyes on it and YouTube's going to take notice. That's the overall goal, to get terrible people like this off of the platform. I've seen that this dude is even using the copyright system in a way, when you do appeal these kind of false strikes, you do have to give up your personal information to the other party.
Yep.
And when the information comes through on his side, he's been using this and weaponizing it against other creators to scare them into silence. This is not good.
That's like the biggest fear part too, is like, yeah, you might as well just take the video down, because if they're gonna get your fucking name and information, like it scares the fuck out of you, dude. Like you don't know, these people are hinged on the internet. You don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with it.
Good. From the Insider article, it says the YouTubers against whom he's initiated strikes are caught in a precarious bind. Either they allow him to remove their content, or they attempt to fight the strike, which means offering up their personal information to him. Last Thursday in a live stream, Elshamy revealed one of the people's physical address, which they submitted in an attempt to overturn the strike against them. So he's taking these creators' information and he's doxing them on live stream with full intent to harm them. I'm not sure why YouTube hasn't stepped in and done something other than he's just a smaller creator. So hopefully this video brings attention to it, at least some more, when he's done other things like expose himself in live streams.
Cheeky bum, her computer looks like la 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 la. Cheeky bum, her computer looks like, oh, that's so funny. Right, Cheeky bum? Sally has her eyes open. Nader! Nader! Oh my God, Nader.
So after this,
somebody said apparently he has refugee status.
After he took his pants off like this, DD then goes in, gives him a inappropriate favor on said live stream. Now this has since been clipped out of the live stream, but this actually happened.
Damn. Do we need to watch it? What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm not showing that. Again, there's currently an ongoing investigation. Guy's even got his own petition on change.org to be removed from YouTube. He's got all the hallmarks of somebody that should be permanently removed from the platform. And to top it off, he's a scammer saying he's a chef when he's actually preying on vulnerable viewers. So the guy says he's a chef, but look at this chicken that he's cooked here. It's literally pink on the middle. That's absolutely disgusting. So again, this dude's preying on vulnerable viewers and a change needs to happen. YouTuber Repzilla had a good idea in his video coverage of this, where he did a charity on his video called ABUSC Holds No Gender. As you guys know, I like to do charities towards this type of thing. Last year, raising over $10,000 for RAIN to help people in vulnerable situations just like this. I think at the end of the year, we actually raised closer to $15,000. So I'm going to be doing a charity in this video as well. It should be below on mobile to the right on desktop. If you feel like you have extra money or this is a cause that you want to support, please do, and I appreciate you for it. Let me know if you've donated in the comment section below. That being said, I want to know what you guys think about this video, so leave your creative or interesting comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up for those likes. As always, brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video. This was an intense video. It's going to...
All right, yeah, that certainly was an intense video. Jesus Christ. Okay, guys. Well, I'm happy I watched that video because it was a good video. It was very revealing, especially, you know, towards the middle end there. But god damn, bro. This has been a heavy fucking stream, dude. This has been such a heavy fucking stream. Okay. This has been nuts. Jesus. Yeah, W charity. Absolutely. Fucker. Definitely a fucker. This has been an intense stream. Okay. I'm gonna burp now. Yeah, iceberg for tomorrow. Yeah, I think so. That was intense, bro. Yeah, it's been definitely insane. That was a lot. It's a little bit of an intense day.
Super chatted $2.
Hey, thanks for super
Why
chat.
are you so cute?
Can't answer that question, brother. It's an ancient Chinese secret.
Isn't SR super chatted $4.99.
Hey, thank you so much, brother.
Got my donos back LMAO, but react harder. Thank you, Papa.
Thank you.
Undecillion super chatted $4.99. Hey,
Foodie.
Papa, just wanted to leave you a little tip for keeping me entertained throughout work. Like it feels like I just started and now I'm at lunch. THX.
Hey, I appreciate that. Foodie Beauty. What's the best one here? The Canadian Horror Stories. You said this is the one that you want me to watch? I might actually.
With him for discussing.
I might actually watch this at some point. People said that might be like a tomorrow thing. Damn. All right, we need a palate cleanser. And now a palate cleanser. You guys like that? So this is gonna be our palate cleanser, guys. Right here.
Don't be
Have you guys seen this kid on TikTok? I love this kid. Look at this.
Yeah, no, oh, bro.
You seen this?
What the hell?
I wanna kill my mom.
What the
I wanna kill my dad. I wanna kill my grandma.
What the hell?
This is my favorite sound on TikTok right now. I love it. I don't know why, but this kid is constantly has me rolling.
No, I'm saying you're really good though, bro. No, I'm saying that's something serious though, bro.
This is his actual account. So there's like a bunch of content like this. I've never seen all of it. I just found his actual real account. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll talk about this.
Oh man, he just been chilling. No, you good, bro? No, you chilling. You gotta chill, bro. Dad.
You do gotta
relax,
chill.
Okay? I don't care what.
Shut up.
What's going on? I don't care what.
Shut up.
I don't care what Jimmy.
I'm sorry. You shouldn't be yelling like that. You should be telling an adult to shut up. This is the first one.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Yeah. What's wrong with bro?
I thought the guy fucking went running.
Don't be talking.
Yeah.
Get down.
No.
Bro, I'm pretty sure the dad is making him do all this. Because I saw, we're going to get to a video. I'm pretty sure the dad's been forcing him to do this.
Get down. Get down.
I couldn't even scream like that now if I wanted to.
We just on you.
Don't be.
Excuse me?
I'm one with the darkness. Are you good?
Oh, been tripping lately. What the heck?
Boom. Help your son. Turn around. Turn around and die. I'm one with the darkness.
I can't.
Shut up.
I don't care what Jimmy...
No one cares about your opinion. No one cares about you.
Damn, what?
Don't be talking.
Damn, what a...
I'm doing pretty good, alright?
Bro, I fucking... This is just cracking me up.
But I need more.
See, the dad's like encouraging the behavior. It's not like this kid isn't like a bad behavioral kid or anything. He's just fucking around and the dad's encouraging it. The dad's the problem. My mom used to do, or she does this thing when there's like a baby in the family. She teaches the baby how to go like and like spit all over the stuff. Spit everywhere, just so that like the kid will pick up that habit and go home and start doing it to the parents and like bothering the parents and upsetting the parents. So she'll like spit all your food out and she'll do that. That's what this is. That's what this is, and it's funny.
So I need you to stand on top of that couch and just be like evil SpongeBob, like that. Are you ready? All right, come on.
That was not what he asked him to do.
Get away from me.
Did she have a knife? Wow, what the fuck?
Get away from me.
What is she got like a spoon or something.
I'm doing pretty good, alright? But I need
I'm finna get
goo gas.
I'm finna get some gas.
Goo.
So it's the end of somebody.
What is this? How gangbangers
life today?
But nobody's no family.
It's the end of somebody's life. It's the end of somebody's life today.
Wait, what
Get down.
Dude, what is wrong with
Can't you control your kid?
doing nothing? Nobody tell you how to control yourself.
You fucking idiot.
What is wrong with that boy?
What the heck? Look at Dejan.
What the hell?
Get off the table.
You think they're acting, or do you think that the father and son are just acting like complete fucking like completely insane to their family and just like seeing what their reactions are? That's what I hope is happening. I hope that they're not in on it.
Bro, mama, you have the power to stop this.
What is wrong?
No.
Is this fucking real?
You did enough.
You did enough being here.
Fuck.
You got any more cake left? You want me to turn around and what?
Die.
You want me to what?
Turn around and die.
Stop!
I'm pretty sure that's actually Mario Judah, by the way. That's actually him as a kid. This is just unsurfaced tapes. Okay, well that was a really nice way to end that. All right, guys. We do have, I think that's it for today. I think I'm good for today. I feel like we did enough for today. I'm a little burnt out on today's segment, so it's quite intense. Let me end off with this last
Techie Mommy super chatted $5.
Hey.
Thank for entertaining my suggestion.
I appreciate that. All right, guys. I appreciate you stopping by. Have a good one. Take care. I love you. Mwah. Peace out.